Well, hello, everybody. This is Travis Keys, chairman of APA New York. I want to thank everybody for joining us for First Impressions. This was originally supposed to be a live event in New York City, and obviously we know those kind of got canceled. So silver lining, now this gets to go to everybody, and you can kind of watch and participate if you've put in your websites to be evaluated. We thank you for that. We have an amazing panel here, and I'm really happy that we're able to kind of provide this to everybody in this time. And it's certainly more needed now that people have some time to redo their websites and kind of really focus in on rebranding themselves during this down period. I'm really excited to introduce our host. I first want to say, if you have questions, we're going to pretty much hold those towards the end. If you have something that's really, really kind of pertaining, I will be watching the question and answer. So don't put it in chat, put it in the question and answer panel, and I'll be watching that for questions and stuff like that. So we'll be pulling some questions towards the end. And I want to now introduce Heidi, who's going to take over and share her screen and introduce our panelists. So guys, enjoy. Thanks for joining us.
Hi. So I'm Heidi Governman. I work for Workbook. And as Travis mentioned, we were supposed to do this event back on March 12th. And the weekend before that, Travis and I were on the phone going, gee, golly, should we be moving forward? And obviously we didn't. So this is our sort of make good, redo, and bringing it to you into your home. So we're excited to be able to do that. As I said, I'm with Workbook, and my wonderful panel today. First up is Hillary Freilich. She is a senior art producer. A veteran art producer with 20 years of experience under her belt, Hillary has worked with worldwide agencies, big and small, spanning clientele such as Diet Coke, Delta Airlines, Google, and Reebok. She manages, problem solves, curates, analyzes, budgets, and plays the project mommy, always with a smile on her face. When not producing, Hillary loves spending time with her dog, Daisy Lou, and actively participating in community projects and events in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do my screen share and get you guys all into my presentation. So forgive me for that, but let me do a little catch up. Here we are, and here we are. So not to reiterate everything I just said, I'm just gonna plow through this section. And of course, thank you for coming. So here is Hillary and what I just said. And so Hillary, I have a few little questions for you. If you were a color, what color would you be?
If I were a color, I put down burnt sienna because that's my favorite color in the
Which I thought was very specific.
It's very specific. I love that.
Very specific.
Okay, if you could have a superpower, what superpower would you want?
I can't remember what I put, so now I'm thinking I would want to be.
It was the greatest answer. If you'd like me to refresh
please,
your memory.
I don't remember.
It was, if I could have a superpower, it would be the ability to eat quesadillas all my life and never gain weight.
There you
also
go.
Extraordinarily specific, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
There you
and
go.
Your favorite flower?
Lily of the Valley.
And what is your favorite part about your job?
I love matching the artists to the project. I love finding the artists, finding new artists, illustrators, photographers, any kinds of artists. That's the biggest part that I love about my job.
So everybody, if you're listening, and you can realize that I like to start off with goofy questions, it sort of breaks the ice and gives us a little personal insight into our panelist, which I think is super important. So next up is Renee Jung. She's a VP senior art producer. Renee is an award-winning senior art producer with more than just production under her hat. She began her career as an aspiring photographer that later realized behind the scenes was more of her calling. She spent many years as a photo agent and a producer, and then finds that the ad agency life was where she wanted to be. When she is not taking on crazy last minute projects, you can find her hanging with her dog Barney or going to a concert. Welcome, Renee.
Hi.
So if you were a color, what color would you be?
It's not burnt sienna. It's definitely black. You ask anybody, I'm always, besides right now, I'm usually head to toe in black all the time.
Okay. So if you had a superpower, what superpower would you want?
I mean, shit, I think I would want to read minds.
What am I thinking, Renee?
You're thinking about how cool you look in your glasses.
My new glasses
Yes, your
are
new glasses.
fly. Yeah. So okay, and then your favorite color, which I found this to be the most interesting answer I've ever heard. Oh no, your favorite, yes, your favorite flower,
My favorite flower is the anemone.
which I would not have thought of.
I think it's because they have the black center.
Okay, so it's and so then the last question is, of course, what is your favorite part of your job?
The favorite part of my job is being part of the creative process. I really enjoy being able to voice my opinion and my creative teams trusting me and taking everything I say into consideration and being more partners rather than just a support system. And I think that's super special and a job that I feel like not a lot of people know that is part of being an art producer.
Perfect. Okay, so then me, I work for Workbook. You already know that part. My favorite color is blue, just because it is, and any shade of blue, every shade of blue. I just love blue. Hate purple, love blue. If I could have a superpower, what my superpower would be would absolutely be flying. I so dream that I can do that anyway. So I feel like I know the mechanisms that I'm going to need to do that at some point. So love that idea. My favorite flower is lilac. It exists for like a month every year and not in California really. So, but it is my favorite flower. And my favorite part of my job is a hard answer, but because I really love supporting my clients and artists in this industry. But my favorite part is sort of what we're doing today, which is connecting the sides of the table and connecting people. That makes me extraordinarily happy when I can do it successfully. So right now, this is kind of my favorite part of my job. So moving on. So websites. Do you guys have sort of turnoy? I don't know why I said it like that, but turnoffs that are just like deal breakers? You get to a site, you see this thing, and you're gone. Renee?
I mean, I think for me, I feel like the most obvious answer is always like Flash website. I just, at the moment I see it, I feel like it just kind of takes so long for me to be able to get to the website, which is, I don't have like all the time in the world, and I know most people don't, and I know people's times are precious, but I think that definitely is something that I'm not too fond of.
Fair enough. Hillary, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I agree. Flash definitely. It's not often that I'll see it, but this is from a long time ago, but music, any music that comes up, and things that are slow to load, those are the big turnoffs.
I think that's fair enough. So these are sort of do's, more in the do, and it kind of says what you're saying, Hillary, which is fast loading, always number one, right? If you want to get it, you want to get it quickly. But I added a few more: simple navigation, clear categories, thumbnails that expand to larger images, short credits or other background information is always interesting, but it's not a must-have. Are there more, and do you agree with these? Hillary, would you start me off on that one?
I definitely agree with them. Thumbnails are a good one. I'm trying to think if there are more. Fast loading, simple, clear categories. I think contact information, we'll probably see that throughout, making sure that the contact information is clear, whether it's a direct contact or you have an agent, or hyperlinks and things like that make it clear of how do we get in touch with you.
And Renee, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that. I feel like it's super important to make sure you have all of these, and yeah.
How do you feel? Do you also want social links? If you get to a contact page, will you automatically hit that social link to see what they're doing on Instagram and so on?
I do. I like it because sometimes depending on what it is and who we're looking for, sometimes that's an important factor.
Is that kind of and I'm leading you a little bit on this one, but is that a kind of a way to like bookmark a person when you kind of click on that, and if you like it, then you follow that person sort of right away? Is that a way to keep them in your sphere, or is that not really something you do?
Not for me per se. My Instagram is all over the map, so I don't follow that many people in that regards. But I do bookmark people that I like. So I bookmark and categorize and tag all my bookmarks. So if there's a site that I like, I bookmark it in 2 different places.
Okay, Renee.
Yeah, I do like being able to see what social channels the photographers or any artists have listed out. And I definitely think it's a great source of finding new talent. And I'm always on Instagram, even though personally I don't ever post, even though that's not very fair, but I do enjoy looking at people's Instagrams and seeing what people are up to.
So I have another question that isn't really here. How do you feel about personal work on the site? Is that a go-to place for you?
Hugely for me, yes. I feel
Really?
like sorry.
No. I want you to expand, and I jumped in like an idiot. So sorry.
No, not at all. I think that for me personally, personal work is where I find the artists, the real creativity side of them, because I feel like, commission work, yeah, you work with another partner that, you collaborate with to create the art, but I feel like the personal work is where the artist typically tends to shine.
You go there first,
Yeah.
Hillary?
I don't know if I necessarily go there first, but I definitely agree with Renee that it is an important aspect because just like Renee said, you see the work, the commercial work, the commission work, and it is through the eyes of an agency, an art director, and a client in that way. And of course, a photographer is huge in that, but I definitely like the personal work where I can see kind of without any other influence what they're thinking, looking at, liking, whatever it is. So
What
yeah.
inspires them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I feel like we're okay. So creative navigation names. Oftentimes, I don't know if you guys see this, but they'll name them something funky. Do you like that, or do you prefer things that are more like consensual language between us? Like we all know what lifestyle means. We know what portrait means. We know what all of these names mean. Do you like it when they change up the names and make it funky, or would you just like it to be more straightforward?
I can jump in with this. My
Please.
preference for me is the easier it is, the better. Because if I'm searching, and this is kind of broadly, if I'm searching lots of sites, and I don't want to have to try to figure out, well, what does this mean? I prefer the standard of this is people, this is, I don't mind subgroups. So if someone's shot a bunch of underwater stuff, or something where there's enough content that where it would make sense to do that, but I want to know what it is. And with projects, certain projects, they'll have a story, or a certain project that's the name of the story, which I understand depending on what type of job it is. But for the most part, I want to be able to understand what I'm going to be looking at so that I know to click on it.
Okay. Okay, and so I just this is sort of an example. So you want it to be clear. So if lifestyle then had a subgroup that was like, the name of the story or the name of the product or service underneath, so you had a sense of that it was a specific assignment, that's cool, but you still want that the ultimate header to tell you what it is. You want to know what it is before you click on it.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, for me, and I've seen it too, because if it's lifestyles at kids, there are a lot of subgroups, and that's fine, but I want to be able to understand a little bit more. So it doesn't, I mean, everyone's going to have their own way in which the categories are going to, if they're, you know, subheading or whatever it's going to be, but as long as it's fairly clear, and if there's enough work that can, you know, that makes sense for that, yes, absolutely. But the general categories I prefer, yeah.
So I think that, like, I think it's important to make the note that you're going to a site with an agenda. You want something specific, and the quicker that that photographer, that illustrator, whoever can get you to the imagery that's accessible for the thing that you're looking for, the better it is for you.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and I, you know, Renee might have more to add to that, but yeah, for me, it is for the most part. I mean, obviously, sometimes what'll happen is I'll come across the site and I'm just in my passing, I'll look at things and I don't have a specific agenda. But when I do, yeah, I'm like, okay, I have this project. I know what I'm looking for. I need to, you know, because my Rolodex in my head and I have all my bookmarks. That's why I tag everything. So I can type in a style and it's tagged and I have all the lists of places that I go, but then new people and that kind of thing also,
And
you know, helps.
is that how you work as well, Renee?
Yeah, for sure. I'm totally in agreement with Hillary on this. I feel like, you know, it's good to be very clear and concise of how a viewer should be able to navigate easily. And, you know, for the most part, you know, it sucks, but yeah, we are there for a specific reason. We're not looking to pussyfoot around the website. So.
Yeah. Fair enough. I think that was, importance of about pages. We don't have to spend a ton of time on this one. And I like touched my computer and it basically said, stop it, Heidi. So I'm about to be on the right page. Here we are. So the importance of about pages. These are 3 about pages that I happen to dig in a big bad way because it's not sort of that typical, I picked up the camera at this age kind of story. It's more like, it gives me a glimpse into their personalities, but in a fun way. It makes me think I want to know these people, and I'm fortunate enough to I get to know these 3 people specifically. But how do you feel about pages? Do they matter to you? Do you spend any time on them? Do you even read them? Hillary, could you start us off with that?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I read them. It's definitely interesting to see, you know, if you can get a glimpse of who the photographer is, what they like, what they don't like, you know, also because you know, part of what you're doing is you're matching a style but you're also matching a kind of way in which collaboration can happen too. So it's kind of cool. You're like, oh, you're also, for me, I'm also selling a photographer to an art director, to a creative director, be like, oh, this person is really into this. That's cool. Or, you know, or maybe there's something in there. It's not always, but I think it's a nice touch. And maybe there's something in there that could be interesting, that could help, you know, make a decision.
How about you, Renee? Do you spend a lot of time on about pages? Are they important to you as well?
Yeah, I think that they're definitely important for a few reasons for me, because, you know, I work in pharma healthcare industry, and I typically try and find photographers who I feel like are more personable, who can really hold a conversation potentially with a patient or a real person that, you know, sometimes, you know, a lot of folks don't have a lot of experience or a lot of work with real people, real patients. So it's always nice to be able to see a little glimpse of like their about page that kind of humanizes them and makes them more something that defines them more than just being a photographer.
And I have a question on this too. Is there something that you want to see specifically on an about page? Like a photo or something? Do you want a photo of them? Do you want to see what they look like?
Not necessarily. I don't think
No.
that's, for me, it's not hugely important.
Yeah, no, it's a preference for the photographer. They'd like to share their photo, but not important.
Okay. So moving on. So now it's on to the site. So everyone just bear with me because of the share. I have to do this in a very sort of specific way. So we're going to close out of here, and we're going to move on to the sites that are preloaded. The way this part's going to work is that I'm going to go where they tell me. So everybody is going to get about a 5-minute evaluation on the site between the two panelists here, and they're going to tell me what to do and give some feedback on what they're seeing. And I am going to do that, so at least we're in full screen. So where do you guys want me to start?
Renee, I'll let you start this one.
Okay, yeah.
So this is the homepage. This is, I'm sorry, I'm going to reload it just so that we
Okay.
have the same experience. So this starts here. So Renee,
Okay.
you got to tell me what to do. I'm like,
I
am your
mean,
slave.
if you can X out of the mailing list and then enter. So, I mean, having to enter, like click enter into a site is not super ideal for me. I like to be able to just be able to dive right in. I think this landing page is nice. I mean, this homepage is really nice because you get to clearly see kind of very quickly what the capabilities are. If you scroll down, Heidi. Yeah, I feel like this is, you know, a really nice layout. And then if you go to like fashion or any of the other, yeah, I mean, I feel like in general, I feel like, you know, this is an okay layout. I think that, I guess, I don't know if you minimize or make the site smaller, or if you expand on it, if it will kind of snap into adding more images into the actual site itself. Because I feel like I'm not really, it's hard because I feel like there's so much variety.
So you want me to do this?
Yeah, do you mind if
where-
you just like expand it and then
Unfortunately, I'm not on a very huge screen. As I, you know, but it doesn't look like it's definitely dynamic, but it doesn't look like it's going to expand further for me.
Okay.
So I get the sense that it is 2 across for this.
Yeah, I mean, Hillary, I don't know how you feel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I agree with the enter site. It's very nice, but I think it's just one more click. And overall, generally, I want to have less clicks. I want to be able to, when I get to the site, I want to be able to get into there. So even with the subscribe to the mailing list might be another way you could do that instead of having that, you know, where I have to click out of that. In terms of the thumbnails would be ideal is, you know, having the navigation also, because you see there's a large part of the navigation has the photographer's name and then the categories. That's a huge amount of space there. And that's just a design aspect of it, but I prefer smaller thumbnails or maybe an overview with smaller thumbnails and then get into the bigger categories.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, you're talking about maybe a gallery sort of tiled scenario.
Yeah, and I'm sure as we move along, we might see that where there'll be a lot more smaller thumbnails where you can, because what you have to do here is you have to scroll down and that kind of thing. Again, it's all navigation. You're gonna have to scroll or click or whatever. So that's part of it. But, you know,
So
sometimes.
just to ask a question, like, so we start here, and if there was an overview that had a little bit of everything, is that something that you like? So what I'm saying is, like, these galleries could maybe potentially, you know, be what they are, but the overview would maybe be a tiled scenario where you could have a little bit of everything, so you could see, you know what I mean? Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Or am I just speaking gibberish? Which is super possible.
No, that makes sense.
I think that's good feedback. Because I feel like it's tough to be able to if we only give so much space at the right beginning of a portfolio to make a mark, and there's a lot of pressure, and I feel like it doesn't really speak to the depth of what the photographer is capable of. So I feel like being able to see what, like just like a little like sampling of what each photographer is capable of in the beginning, I think that's great.
Agreed. And and for me also, kind of the less work I have to do. Again, if I'm looking at, 50 to 100
Presence,
websites,
right.
it's just like, boom, I want to get in there and, oh, okay, great. This is what I want. Nope, sorry, moving on, Of course, a photographer doesn't want me to move on, but that's the ideal, is to have that overview,
Right.
Ideally.
Okay, so I, of course, clicked on personal work because I know you both like to see that. I also have another question. I'm not sure, maybe Travis, you can answer this for me. Can you guys see this portion on top of this site? Because I'm going to just collapse that so that we can see more of the actual sites. Travis?
Yeah, we can see the top. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we don't need to see that.
No, please.
Okay, so ladies, because I can't see you, please be just like, hey, Heidi, and then jump in, because I can't see you if you're waving at me or if you're giving me some kind of a signal. Just to sort of wrap up this one, because I think we're almost at the mark here. We like the clear navigation here. We know that when we go here, we're going to see beauty. Here, we're going to see fashion. It's very clear what we're going to see, and he has that personal work that you like. I also think this is great. This section here is like super clear. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm going to see. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
And then maybe just adding, Antonio, I'm hoping that you're out there and you're listening, because we love looking at you. But maybe adding that overview concept that would make it easier for them to access what they're looking for and get a better overall sense. And then otherwise, maybe thinking about that, making it smaller and utilizing more space. And again, I apologize. I am on a small computer. I'm on a laptop. So, but I do think it's worthy to know what that experience is too, right? You guys are sometimes on a desktop, sometimes on a laptop. Would that be accurate, guys? And by guys, I mean, you lovely ladies.
Yes.
Okay, so it at least is mirroring an experience. So thanks, Antonio, for letting us look at your site today.
Thank you, Antonio.
And we're gonna move on to the next person. This is Dana Hersey, who's a client of mine who I madly adore. You tell me what to do here, but I wanted just full disclosure. This is my dog.
Which dog? Oh, so cute.
I know.
Is that a boxer?
He's a Saint Bernard mix, and he passed away last year. And but Dana took his photo for me like an angel. But anyways, you guys tell me where to go. So just in case you were going to be like, oh my God, that dog's hideous. I thought I'd warn you.
Never.
Don't say
all
that.
Animals are beautiful.
I know, they are all beautiful.
Okay, so on to Dana. Tell me what to do. Who wants to go first? Because I can't see either one.
I can go. Maybe we can alternate, Renee. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I'll go. Okay, so this is an overview, which is great. Can you scroll down and just see how this kind of rolls?
And I'm noticing that wherever my cursor is, lightens up.
Okay, and then maybe can you click on an image, and I'm just curious what happens when you click on.
Did you have a preference?
Click on your pup.
Okay. Bambino.
I see. Okay. And so then do you scroll through? Is that an arrow that's happening, or?
Yeah, it's an arrow when it's here that lets me know that I can continue with the overview gallery.
Okay.
And then if I go to the center, it's showing me these 4 squares.
Which means go back to thumbnails.
Which would go back to this more gallery tile view.
Could you, and are you able to move forward with your keyboard arrow? Scroll that way when you click into something?
Now I just hit my arrows and it's not moving.
Well, no, you have to click on first.
Here,
click on an image.
Use the arrow.
Yes.
You click
now
an
it
image
does
first.
let me. now it does let me do exactly
You
that.
can. Oh, okay. And it's going pretty fast. So that's nice. I like
It's
the
going,
fact that,
it's under my control. It is
yeah,
going, it's not automatic.
right. So I like the fact that, um, because I see things really fast. So I'm like, I click through, boom, 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 boom. I go fast. And I like the fact that I don't have to, it doesn't delay. It doesn't. So I like this. Up top looks good. Quirky healthcare, edible, on white animals, people, projects, clients. I like all of these. I like the fact that there's the LinkedIn and the Instagram logos that show me exactly where I'm going. Let's click on the contact and just check that out. So this is great. So there's a hyperlink. I'm assuming if you click on that, that's going to go. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I'm just.
Where did you want me to hyperlink? Oh, on here?
No,
This is,
yeah, the info, just to see if it actually works. You know, I'm assuming that it works and it clicks into your mail, which it's doing, which is great. And then I like the, I can't see. Okay, yeah. So
I like this too. I like this.
yes, the email, if you want to do the email. I also like the information of where Dana's work is going to be, and I like the idea that there's stock. So I think this is great. It's got thumbnails. The thumbnails are big, which is fine, but at least you can have you know, more imagery in there. So that's fine. I like this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Renee, did you have anything that you wanted to add, or a gallery that we should be exploring right now?
I mean, first thing I noticed was that there was an animation incorporated in the overview.
In the overview?
I loved that. I think
too.
that it's super important that you're showcasing your capabilities first and foremost. I think that's super important. And I really like the amount of work. I think it might be too much to go through, but I think it kind of, so for example, I feel like if there's too much in the overview for me to look at, then I won't feel it necessary to look in the other categories sometimes.
So
I'll
an
be like,
overview, how big is his overview is a really good question. Let's find out.
That's a good point,
This
Renee.
is
Yeah.
this is 60 of 64. So he has 64 images in his overview. What is your ideal?
I mean, it's tough to say. I also feel like, you know, a lot of the images are vertical. So it kind of feels very, very linear. And and, you know, I feel like if there were, there was a mix of things to start off, then that'd be great. I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I could guesstimate maybe 20, 25. Like it really depends on what the layout is like.
Sure.
But I feel like, I feel like I got a good idea of this work. I'm gonna move on. I'm not going, and not meaning I'm gonna look at the other menu items.
I see. So if the overview, I've always told my clients, and please correct me because I'd love to be able to tell them what you guys feel. I've always said a good overview is 25 to 35, 45 tops, but you really shouldn't have more than that in an overview. Because of what you're saying, it becomes a gallery, right? And you want them to go in, you know, you get a sense of who we are here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you dive in for the thing you want here, right? So would you say that's accurate? 25 to 35 is ideal?
Yeah, I would say so. I think that also depending on the layout, that's a good amount to start with. I feel like it's a good amount to leave a little bit to the imagination. So, yeah.
Well, and I think it always goes back to less is more, right? It's and edit, which is always so very hard to do, especially when you have work like my friend Dana here. So, okay. So Dana, I know you're out there listening. And so, great site, and that's the feedback. I feel like the only other place I want to check is his about page, just because we've talked about it. It is important to, oh, I love this. How cute is this?
Oh, very cute.
I see, I originally thought these were the same dog. I mean, look at these dogs.
Gorgeous.
I know, right? I love this. Really well done.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, so Dana, we're going to move on to the next person. Thanks so much for submitting for this. I think it was super.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Dana.
thank
And-
you.
And I appreciate, you giving us that opportunity. I'm going to start to cross out of these guys now. Okay, so on to Arnold. Arnold Adler, photography. I'm gonna reload so that we can see what that home experience is,
Yeah.
and I'm not exactly sure how I got this deep into it. So I apologize, ladies, for not being better prepared. I thought I had loaded that differently. So this is the first experience. And I believe this scrolls automatically. Yeah, it does.
Okay. Oh, it goes. Oh, okay. So you're not
Okay, so
doing
you're
anything.
not doing anything?
Okay.
I'm not. I'm
Okay.
not at this juncture. This is the home. When I plunk in his name and I click on it, this is where I go. And this is what happens. I'm not touching anything, but I
Okay.
will. You guys just tell me what to do.
So even if you have like your cursor over the image, nothing kind of pops up or anything. It's just your pointer. Okay.
No.
I mean, Arnold, I give you a lot of credit. In my opinion, I feel like it's really hard to be able to, for artists to be able to understand what their signature images are. So, I mean, I feel like, it's very confident. But I think that in terms of bodies of work, I feel like it's definitely a mixture of a lot of different things. I'm getting a lot of different types of photography here, which I feel like I wouldn't want to necessarily wait for. I would just literally go to the little arrow and be like, boom, 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 boom. So I feel like, as we were saying, yeah, the grid layout is great, but and it's definitely helpful. So I don't know if that's something that you would try and consider to see if it works with your images. Heidi, do you mind going to portfolios, please?
But I just add something before I do.
Yeah, of course.
Arnold, I'm noticing that when I'm clicking here, it's not actually moving. So these arrows are lying to us. It's a terrible thing to say. I'm kidding, of course, but it's like they're here, but it doesn't move. It's not moving the image forward. It's double clicking and it's doing, or at least it was. Now it's working correctly, but it wasn't. When I was clicking on stuff, it was fighting me. And I don't know if I can speak for both ladies, but when you fight with a site, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
So just be, maybe test that and be cognizant of that element of it, because it really wasn't being responsive the way it sort of represents that it will be. And Hillary, let's get back to, was it Renee or Hillary? I can't see either one of you. So
It was Renee.
okay, so Renee,
Another
where do you want me to go?
quick comment that Arnold, that I would like to make. So the image that popped up initially, it's just super quick comment. I feel like it's a different logo or different typeface than what I feel like is your branding. So I think if we just keeping in mind trying to keep everything consistent, because you want to that's your brand, so you just want to make sure it stays consistent throughout. So if you go to portfolio, can we see what's under that
Okay, so
guy?
this is what you're referring to.
Yes.
He has this branding, and then we're seeing this here.
Yeah.
And you're saying pick a lane.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, in general, maybe don't cover your image with any type of type. I feel like it just sends, I know it sends some sort of message. And I just feel like if you want to keep your logo and your branding on the page at all times, which I recommend, I think this lower part, I think that's fine, or add it somewhere else. But I don't think it needs to be on that initial image.
Okay, and so under portfolio, where did you want me to head next?
Sorry, I can't see.
So this is written very small, and obviously I know that it's just because But if you can you go to editorial? Sorry, I can't see.
Okay, so what's happening for me is that I feel like this image is part of the editorial, and I agree with you, Renee. This is so much. I love this more without the typography. It feels much cleaner. But this is where we go, and I feel like this is where the scroll is going to come into play. It's not automated anymore.
Okay.
So this is a scroll as opposed to a tiled gallery.
And then there's like a little mini thumbnail
At the bottom.
scroll at the
where
bottom, right? And can you click on any of those images to go to them directly?
I can, yes.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a positive for sure.
Do you
Just
guys
to do
have a feeling about the left-right scroll at all? I've heard from some buyers that they do not like the left-right scroll. I wondered if either one of you had any like or dislike for it in any capacity worth mentioning.
I guess a verti scroller. I like to scroll. Vertical scroll.
Oh, I see.
I'm trying to make up a random term, but I like to be able to scroll vertically just because that's how the site, as like a website in general, would work. And in my opinion, I feel like if you were scrolling left and right, it's almost like you're viewing like a photo album on like a Facebook page, and it almost, for me, it kind of takes me out of that moment. But I don't know, Hillary, you can.
Yeah. I kind of never really, it's very interesting. I never really thought about it, but yeah, I guess the left right doesn't necessarily bother me, but I guess it depends on how fast it is. If I have to do it, I do like it again. I do like the vertical scroll where I can just like go up and down, really easily, as opposed to click, or if it's on the keyboard, so that I'll always ask that, can you advance with the keyboard arrow?
Right.
Does that work?
Which I don't know. I'm not actually right now. I don't advance with the keyboard arrow.
It won't work if you've tried it?
No, I'm trying it right now.
Yeah, okay.
It's not working. And let me
Okay.
see if I put it here, if I click there, if I do that, know that is not either. The other thing I'm noticing, just as I'm navigating here, is it shows a certain amount. And then when I get to the end of that amount, I click here and it loads up a whole bunch more to look at. So I'm not really seeing the thumbs from the entire gallery at the bottom. I'm only seeing a certain section of them because I've now clicked
Could you
that
test
button.
one thing for me? Do you see the
Sure.
home button on the bottom right? To go over, there's a little grid to the left.
Uh-huh. Oh, Travis, come in.
Oh, you can make them go away. So basically it's, do you
Oh.
want to see thumbnails or not? I prefer the thumbnails to be larger. For me, I would prefer.
Yeah, it's hard to
to
see.
It's hard. That's the whole point of this thumbnails for me, is to get a quick overview and see what the content is. And it's harder to see.
Yeah.
That's my comments.
Yeah, and so another disclaimer, my children are probably all over the internet right now. I have a pretty good connection, but it is taking a second to load. So I'm not sure if that's me or if that's the site, but fast loading is super important, Arnold. So you might want to, see if there's anything that's on your side of it, although I'm fully happy to take the blame, and my sons, I'm sure, are obnoxiously disregarding my order not to be on the internet in this exact moment. But they're 16 and 18 and we're locked in a house, so I'm going to give them a little pass, sort of. Okay, so it feels like I've plunked through this specific gallery. Did you ladies want me to go any place else? Did you want to? I was thinking here maybe, or that.
Type profile.
Okay.
Profile.
Oh, there he is. See, I like a picture.
I feel like this might be too wordy in terms of bio. I think it's great that he feels very passionate and is able to has so much to talk about. I think that's great, but I think it might be too much to read.
I love his subjects included jittery wedding couples. I think this is a cool. I like this part, but maybe if we could cut down on some other parts and make it a little more succinct. Do you like client lists, guys?
Sometimes. Depends. I want to see what they're doing. I think with this page, it would be great if it wasn't overlaid onto a photo because it's harder to read. Yeah, sometimes I like to see client lists.
I think that's because it was the last image I looked at, actually. Because you see what's
because
happening.
it is an overlay.
It is an overlay in general,
Right.
which I kind of like, that it's kind of like popping up and telling you stuff. But I don't think, yeah, it's not a specific photo that it's going over. And then let's go to your contact, and there it is. Oh, this is interesting too. He has another website for weddings, and this is, I like that. It gives people options, and again, your social media being right here is super helpful.
I think the contact page needs to have an email hyperlink. Actually
Agreed.
contact us is, I don't find that useful.
You don't fill those out?
No, never. Unless
Never.
unless I
Not a
really
fan of
need
those.
to find, because sometimes I'm finding not traditional artists and they don't have, you know what I mean? So I really have to dig for someone who's far, far away or whatever. And who knows, but very rarely am I ever touching that.
Okay, I think that's really important. So if you can get rid of this part, because, you know, for everything that they just said, but it also feels like anytime I fill these out, it feels like I'm giving away something, even though you're going to get more information if you hyperlink your email right around here. When you hyperlink your email, Arnie, you're going to get a lot more information. You're going to get my title, you're going to get my email, you might get my phone number, you're going to get, you might get my social media links. You're going to get more information from me, and it's going to propagate in my email. So I'm going to have a history of when I contacted you. All of those things are win for you. So you'll actually get more information than you're going to gather in this, and I won't feel uneasy doing it. I personally, I don't know why, I'm giving you more information through a hyperlink, but I get uneasy when I fill out these forms, and most people do, you know, and you'll get a lot of, I never check this email at gmail.com in these kinds of forms. Whereas a hyperlink, you're going to get it and they're going to have a history of it. I'm sorry to cut this one off, but we are moving into the next one because we have a lot of people and we want to make sure that we get to everybody. So Arnie, thank you so much for submitting here. I hope it was super helpful for you.
Thanks, Arnie.
Thank you, Arnie.
Okay, Chris Connor. So again, I want to come in because I came in under the index, and sometimes that just happens. I'm not sure if I was scrolling around and being a goofball, but I really want to come in the way everyone comes in, which is straight up with chrisconnor.com. Whose
like
turn
this.
is it?
I think it's mine, Hillary. So I like this. It's immediate at the bottom. There's information right there, which is great. Assuming that, can you scroll over the email? Does it have a hyperlink there?
It
It
doesn't.
doesn't. Okay. Hyperlinks are ideal. Anyway, or maybe it's in the contact, but still, I do like the idea of that. Can we click on?
It is here, and it is hyperlinked here.
Okay, perfect.
But it would be cool, Chris, if you are listening, if there's a way to hyperlink this here for all of these things, I would suggest doing that.
Yeah, just less clicks. So could we click on celebrity, I guess, and see what happens? See, this is great because this right here, you're seeing a whole bunch of, even though they're different sizes, different formats and that kind of thing, I can see it. So can you scroll all the way down? Okay. Yeah, I think that's great. Can you click on one of the images? Anyone, doesn't matter.
And then it tells me who it is, which I like.
Yeah. She actually shot her for Reebok. Okay, so then so when you're clicking, another question is, can you forward on your keyboard with the keyboard arrow?
That's
Does
what I'm
that work?
doing right now.
Oh, you are awesome. And then what is the far right little icon there? Is that a share icon all the way to the far right? Nope.
Let's go back. This is to make it bigger, and then that is to share.
That is to share. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's interesting because, well, so a lot of times, and we haven't talked about this yet, and just really quickly about, you know, what I'll do sometimes is I'll pull images to show an art director, creative director. So I'm going to either screen grab or right click, depending on how the site lets me or doesn't let me. And so that is interesting. I've never, doubtful that I'd use that, but I like, that's an interesting idea to have that there. So that's kind of interesting. So, but in terms
That's
of
cool.
pulling imagery from a site when I need to share certain shots. Actually, that, can you right click that or see if you can download that, or what happens? No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
just the image itself.
I don't know how to right click.
So you, how do you, I'm just trying to think.
I think it's like control and then
Yeah.
click, I don't think. I don't know.
Or you can just press, depending on how your keyboard or your keypad is set up, you can press with two fingers.
Okay. Heidi the Dope. Sorry, folks. No, nothing has happened. I'm double pressing.
Okay. Well, so usually, depending on what it is, you can either save an image or I do a screen grab. So just curious
Okay.
how that works. So, but everything looks good. I mean, without actually, looking at the content and imagining that all these other categories, because I know we don't have, we don't want to stay too much on this, but so I'll just to see if the other categories are the same. I would imagine that the format's the same. So, yep. So that's great. And then curious about the Getty Images Contour Archive. Does that link? What does that look like?
Takes me to Getty.
So that takes you to Getty. That's cool. That's great. That's good. So if we go back, yeah, go back to the main page. What are gift cards?
Isn't that interesting? I was thinking the same thing. Oh my God, that's adorable. I
Gift
love
card. That's interesting. That's interesting. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't, I mean, to be honest, I would probably, it depends on what the main work that Chris is doing. Gift cards doesn't seem like it's gonna, it doesn't do anything for me, at least.
Sure.
So it looks like press, interviews, contact, bio. Let's see what bio is. Okay. Yeah, I like this. This is, can you scroll down a little? I think overall, this is, the kind of what Renee said about the last bio is a little wordy, but look, overall, I think this is a good site. I get in, I see what you're doing, got the information, it's right there, and I think this is good.
Well, perfect. Okay, well, Chris, thank you so much for submitting for us. I'm hoping that you got some good feedback for yourself and that it's helpful. So thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to Allie. So let me make sure that this is the home page. Yep, it is. So there we are.
Cool.
I think it's Renee's turn. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Look at that.
beautiful. Love that.
Really
I think
beautiful.
that's a great standout image to put as your homepage. So kudos to you.
This is a moving thing. All of these are scrolling through without me.
Okay. So it's also at that pace.
Yep, I
Okay.
haven't touched anything.
Okay. That's fine. Curious what, so if you go to the bottom left where it says portfolio end of days, does that actually go to?
So this here is
Yeah.
not, oh, maybe it is. Okay, there you are. Yes,
Okay,
this is where it
cool.
goes.
Like that. Very nice. And do you mind just scrolling whichever way the
I
scroll
guess
can
it's,
go?
okay, there. Sorry.
No,
And
no,
this
no.
does allow me to move with the left, right arrows.
Okay. That's very cool. I like this. I like this a lot. And the homepage I feel like is good because there's a scrolling element to it that I feel like just immediately jumps you into the body of work, which I thought was really cool. In terms of when you actually click on portfolio at the top, does it like go to, oh, okay. So it just goes to all of the different bodies of work, right? So if you click on end of days. Oh, we're in that one, I think.
Are we? I don't think we are.
Oh, no, never mind. And then there's a little bio or a little an artist statement underneath.
Yeah, when I
Oh,
roll
okay.
over it, it pops up. I think this is, unique in that this is clearly a fine art site, right?
For sure. I think in terms of fine art photography, I think this is great just because when you think of fine art, you have to see things at a larger scale, in my opinion, just because it really speaks to the work so much more, like, and it's more memorable. Yeah, I mean, I like this layout in terms of fine art for sure. What is under blog and video? Do you mind clicking on that bad boy? Okay, so if you scroll,
Oh,
that's really awesome. I think it's, I mean, I honestly, I don't see a whole lot of blogs on websites anymore. Hillary, I don't know if you see them as well, but I feel like it's kind of interesting to see, get a glimpse of inside this person's life and kind of, it's almost kind of like you're showing your Instagram but being able to actually talk more about it, which I think is cool. But unfortunately, I feel like in general, like for me, I wouldn't be able to read through everything. But I think this is really cool. Like Gregory Kurtzen work, like I think it's cool to see like what inspires this person, and yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you said, Renee, in terms of it being a fine art and having the bigger images and that kind of thing. The work is, speaks for itself. Very, very good in that regards and showing it off. And normally I don't look at the blog, but I like it is interesting to see in this context. So I agree.
Yeah, and then in terms of the store link, I was just curious to see what that link was, Heidi, all the way at the top.
okay.
Oh, okay. So it's not
Well.
really a store, but it's kind of like, oh, so if you scroll down, sorry, Heidi.
It's okay. Your wish is my command.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. And then it kind of just goes to, oh, wow.
Yeah, it
That's cool.
does.
I like that.
I mean, it's explaining stuff, but it's definitely the store, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think overall for as a fine art site, I think it's good. I don't think the store should be the first item on the menu.
You think it should be like maybe reorder these
Yeah,
and maybe put it down here?
yeah, or I mean, or call it like Prince or Prince something like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like it,
That's cool.
what's important should be in the front, and then the store, yes, though it is important that you do get to sell your work, should kind of be more of like the last.
The last thing.
Yeah.
And then we have these two. That's good. Okay, Ali, I hope that this was helpful for you. I love this. This is great. And the about page.
Beautiful
clear
work.
and
Yeah.
really beautiful work. And okay, so we're going to move on to the next person. So thanks, Ali. Ali
Thank
or
you.
Ali or whatever. I'm the worst at pronouncing names, so just forgive me. But thank you for participating today. We're going to move on to Jack. I want to make sure that, yep, we are. This is how it starts.
I think I'm up. So it's great. The first, can you scroll down? See what's going on there. It looks like there's more things.
Oh, so that's interesting. It feels like this is like I could click here to go into a gallery, or I could click here to go into a gallery. Like I could do it here, or I could do it here.
Okay, I like that. I like the options of that's a unique way of showing. I don't think I've ever seen anything scroll down in this particular way before, so that's not so bad. That's interesting.
So
At
it's like
least I
an
have a
overview.
glimpse.
So it's like
one
an
image.
overview of one image per gallery so that you can get a sense.
Yeah, exactly. Which is good. I mean, a lot of times it will just be a static one page kind of thing where one image will represent the category and you can just see it in one viewing as opposed to scrolling. So that's ideal. So why don't we click on one of them?
Okay, so I just chose randomly still life. And so
Okay.
then you have that tiled experience.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That
And is this the
seems-
flower that you said, Renee? Is that the flower? Is that what they look like?
I
Anyways.
think those are fake, but
No, I know. I know. I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt, Hillary. Go back to
Oh, that's okay. No, it's all good. Yeah, no, this is fine. You scroll down, you get a glimpse, and I understand what's. If you click on one image, let's see what happens there.
Oh, that's the
So
flower.
it gets
And I
into
can-
this,
Heidi, sorry.
It's this one.
No, it's that one.
See that?
yeah.
Sorry again.
It's okay. So Hillary, it does allow me to go left and right. Oh, that's
Great.
cool. It allows me to go left and right with the arrows.
Okay, cool.
Once
And I
I'm
know that
in.
with the saving the image, a lot of people, and I know that there was a comment about, having me go out and try to test it myself on this, but there you go. Save page as. Did you just right click that? Yeah,
I
see
did.
that.
Okay, go
That's
ahead.
not that wouldn't work for me. But again, this is a photographer preference and I don't fault them at all for that. I'm just curious what it does. Ideally, I would love to be able to save the image so that when I save my images, I have folders of images and saving the image and making sure that the image has a file name that identifies you, because what I will do is, it'll be Jack Deutsch, image number, whatever. It's helpful for me when I want to collect imagery that I'm going to present, because sometimes I will either collect imagery or I will collect sites to present. So that's just another comment, just overall in general, not particularly with this site. So yeah, but this is generally, I like this. I like the ability to go in. Usually, if you click on an image, I like to see that image bigger, but not a deal breaker like that exactly. So I can see a little bit more into that.
Just to verify, this website is right-click enable. You can save images by right-click.
Oh, excellent!
These.
Fantastic. Thank you for checking that. I appreciate that. And then, so yeah, for this I like. What about personal and about and contact? Let's just roll through that.
I love
Animals.
This is great.
That came up first.
I love.
That came up first, and I was like all about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was not what I expected to see. I liked that. It was a nice
that's
surprise.
great. What about the about
What
page?
is that?
It's a ferret. I think it looks like a white ferret.
It's awesome. Okay, sorry.
What about the about page? Yeah. Awesome.
Picture.
Okay. Scroll down. Okay, cool. Oh, contact Jack. I like that. Yeah, contact us. Ideally, not ideal. If that had been contact Jack, that little button, and then it popped out into an email, that would be ideal. But that's
Not a fan of these forms.
yeah, not so much, but overall this is a good
Agreed.
site. This is a
Do you
easily
like to have a phone
navigate-
number?
Sometimes, yeah,
Okay.
for me, yeah. So yeah, I think this is an interesting, and even the branding and design, I don't mind that. It's not, doesn't,
Not overwhelming. It's not too
no,
big.
yeah.
And we
So
like this
that's my,
overview.
yeah, that's my
Okay.
take on this.
All right, Jack. Well, thanks so much for submitting to us, and I hope that this was helpful to you. And I got to tell you, this is, for me, my favorite picture of the day. This is just like cracked me up. I was not expecting that. Okay, so thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Jack.
and
Thank you, Jack.
we're gonna move on to the next one. I did get a text while I'm doing this. Travis, that someone was knocked off for wasn't sure why, and then she was logging back in. I don't know if something happened in the system that knocked anybody else off, or if it was just that independent human being. But I thought I'd mention it to you. Not
Okay.
sh-
Thank you.
Okay,
Not
so
sure.
yeah, it's Linda Levy. I don't know if you could see it in your system, and I don't know, make it anyway helpful or easier for her. Okay, so we're on to Andy Goodwin.
Mhm.
Whose turn is it?
It's me, Renee.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you refreshed the actual website, there was like a little logo, and I think it said like "see you there." I'm not sure. Do you mind doing it again, Heidi? Do you mind refreshing that?
Oh, see what you mean.
Oh, okay. It's cute. And it's quick. I like it. So yeah, I mean, overall, like just first glance, I feel like, this is really nice. It's very nicely laid out. If you scroll, do you mind scrolling down?
Yeah, it
Sorry.
clearly starts in the life, like he's designated lifestyle or life as his, opening.
Right. Do you mind scrolling down, my dear?
Do you have a feeling about this thing that's happening when I'm going over an image that it lightens up?
I mean, in general, I feel like it's good because when you hover, that means if you hover over it, typically you feel like, oh, if I click on it, it will enlarge the
Something's
image,
gonna
right?
happen,
So
right.
if you click on it's this one right there, that one that you had hovered.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, that's great.
it does allow the left-right arrow key to work. That's great.
Great. Yeah, so I think that's good. I'm just curious to see how you would get back to, okay, so they have a little the
Yeah.
cursor turns
So
back.
when I want to go this way, or this way, or
Okay.
if I hit dead center, it shows
that you can go back to the thumbnails.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think overall this is a nice start of the website. It gives a good range of life type images, moment images. Do you mind going to portraits really quickly, Heidi?
I just wanted to see how many images were in that gallery, because we talked about a good size for an overview gallery, but we didn't talk about individual gallery sizes. And keep that in mind that I'm going to ask you that in about 5 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny because I'm actually keeping track of the sidebar of where when you scroll down, I'm keeping track of how much I'm actually going to be scrolling down.
Yeah.
So if you start scrolling, like I feel like this is, and keep going. I feel like this is great. This is a great amount of a good amount to have in a
And then it's
portfolio. Yeah. And then you're at the end and then you're like, okay, good. I have a good sense of what this person is capable of. Like Andy's doing a great job at portraits. Yeah. And it leads it to a bigger image, which is always really nice. And then in terms of composites and CGI, I'm very curious about that menu item to the left.
Well,
Okay. And do you mind scrolling down?
Scrolling down, sure.
Yes, please. Keep growing, keep going. Yeah, I feel like it's all, I guess what I would be curious about is if, because it doesn't really say who's doing the CGI, like is Andy doing the CG, or if it's just like him working with a company, or he has like a guy that he like has like hidden away somewhere that does all the CG work for him. I guess I'm just really curious about that because if Andy did both, I mean, that's great. That's awesome. I mean, that you don't really find a lot of photographers that have capabilities in both. So I think it's good to kind of to clarify like work that you've done, because I think it can be misleading.
So that then that would be helpful to be maybe on this page. Where would you want that information to be conveyed to you? Like,
I don't think, well, the thing is, I think it would fall under like I think you could call it something else. Like you can call it conceptual, or do you know what I mean? Like I
if
feel
if
like
he called it conceptual narrative or something like that, then you
yeah.
would know he did all of it. Is
Well,
that
no,
what
not
it would-
necessarily. I feel like I don't want the compositing and the CGI aspect of it, because those are all like post-production terms. But I feel like that has nothing really to do with the photography aspect of it. It kind of it's like oh, this is my compositing, and CGI is all stuff that I can do in post. But in terms of the menu scroll on the left, I feel like it kind of stands out in a way to which you don't want it to, because it's kind of like, I'm doing all the CGI for this, I'm doing all the post-production work for this. But that's my personal opinion, because then everything else is like, you know, portrait, workforce, business, and if you go to business, I would assume it's more right, exactly. So I think it's good to just clarify in terms of
and
like
so call this conceptual narrative, but
yeah,
then
something
on
like that.
okay. And then in your capabilities, your about page or whatever, you can talk about your skill set, right? Is that what you're trying? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I mean, if I feel like but the thing is, in my opinion, if you have to talk about it in your about, you kind of didn't really represent yourself very well on the website.
I see.
So I feel like if that just like changes, I know there's so many like nuances to how things are presented about the body of work that you typically do, but I think that if you just change that, I mean, I don't know. To me, that
Sure.
says that he does CGI.
Gotcha. And I went into personal work because it's always something you guys mentioned. Where else did you want me to click around on here?
No, yeah. Do you mind going to contact?
Very clear.
Cool.
And
Yes, both.
very linked. Yep.
Yes. And then in terms of behind the scenes, what is that doodad? Oh, that's great.
It's nice to see what he looks like too.
I
That's
love
great.
I love being able to see that stuff. That's just personal preference, but it's not obviously a selling point.
No, and he's got video on that too, which I think is cool.
Yeah, very cool.
That's awesome. Okay, I feel like unless you want me to go another place.
No, I feel pretty good. Like I think this is a very well thought out website, and I think the work being displayed in it is good. Like I feel like I can go through it really quickly and be able to see images and be able to decipher like, yes, this is my guy.
Right. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much, Andy, for submitting to us. I hope this was
Andy.
helpful, and your work is just beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to move on to Nathan and Hillary. It's your turn.
This is fantastic. Right up front, right here, overview, seeing it up top. I like, you know, that you have information kind of embedded there, which is great. I really like that. And can you scroll down? I guess it's kind of the same format. Everything has the same format. some of it is different in terms of, but this is great because this, I can see everything. I like the naming, lifestyle, healthcare, portraits, business. So just click on one of the sidebar, you know, yeah, that's fine. So this is a standard. I think these are templates from depending on what service it looks like. So these are great. I think these are really helpful to have. You can go back to the thumbnails, and could you click on portraits? Just see what happens there.
Also,
Same
I want to
idea.
show this too. So it's, you know,
Mhm.
dynamic site that's
Yeah.
doing exactly what it's supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. That's great.
We have these-
And then have all the links, the hyperlinks. Let's go to, excuse me. Well, you have the contact. So up on the top right, is that also a hyperlink where you can, that's great. And then maybe go to about and see, that's
Aw.
great. And then
Nathan.
scroll down, what's at the bottom there?
Nathan, you might want to be aware that this is happening. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but isn't that a nice
So
indicator
yeah,
that it's
that's,
not?
maybe something's not loading properly.
Sure, let me try, give it a benefit of the doubt. Nope. So that's
Can
something
you
to pay
click on it
attention
though?
to.
Just to curious, maybe it's just not loading properly.
It usually means a dead link.
Click onto it.
Yeah, it's going to something I don't know.
Okay, so
Doc.
that's something to note, you know, just to
Okay.
keep an eye out for that. But overall, and the video, let's take a look at the video.
About
content.
BTS?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Perfect. Love that. That's great. It's easy to see what it is. Describes what it is. I say, I give a thumbs up for this one. Very, very simple, easy, straightforward, to the point. That's what I need.
Okay, well, thumbs up, Nathan, except for that one thing. So you might want to just check that blue question mark box on your about page. But other than that, looking great. Thank you so much for
Nathan. That's great.
submitting to us. That was awesome. Now everybody get ready to be hungry because this lady makes me hungry, which is, you know, her job. So we gotta love that. Renee, I think it's your turn.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes, I'm starving. I want to eat all of this. Yeah, I think this is really cool. I like this. I'm really digging this layout. Do you mind going to Savory?
What are
Clicking
you
on
hungry
Savory?
for? Like, I'm in the mood for
Fried
something.
chicken.
Yeah, right. This
This is lovely. I mean, it's the work. I mean, we're not really speaking about the work, but the work is beautiful, and I think it's laid out really nicely. I feel like it's very nicely curated. Do you mind scrolling down?
I want that. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's in general, I feel like there's a lot of great work to look at.
And again, it added that motion you like.
Yeah, and I like being able to see like the GIFs or the cinemagraphs. Like that's really awesome. I'm really digging that. One thing that I'm gonna comment on is the top, I guess it's the footer. It takes up quite a bit of space, which I feel like kind of takes away from being able to look at the artwork more in like a more group setting. So I feel like, you know, it's awesome. The logo is nice and big. You're able to read it, but I feel like maybe if you could maybe make it smaller, maybe 10%, and then be able to maybe move it over and then have like the menus kind of be aligned with it, just because it is taking up quite a bit. And you can't really see one image. Like if you keep scrolling down, Heidi, it's hard. Like you would have to kind of scroll up and down to kind of get that effect. And yes, Heidi is on a laptop and that does make a difference. But as we were saying, I feel like it's, you know, a lot of agency folks do work off laptops. I have an external monitor that I use, but I'm not always using it. So I think that's just one thing to make note of. Do you mind clicking on recent work? I'm just curious about.
By the way, I do also have an external monitor that I often use, but for
Right.
purposes here, to make it all make sense, I could not utilize that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
recent work.
So if you can scroll down.
Do you want to be here? Or you don't want to go into the individual projects? Or you
Yeah,
want
I'm
to
just
see?
curious to see how this is laid out. And yeah, I think this is really cool. Do you mind clicking on, try the Twist Your Spirits?
Hold on just a second. Honey, could you close my door? Thank you. My husband walked by and I'm like, close the door. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can you click on Twist Your Spirits? Just for fun.
Just for
to see
shits and
what's-
giggles.
Yeah.
Okay, so then. Oh, I love it.
So scroll.
I want this, Leslie. I
That's
don't know what
right.
that is, but I want it.
She has to send out recipes after.
Right.
this. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
this is great.
And the color palettes are just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh my
Lovely.
gosh, love it.
Do you mind going back to portfolio again, Heidi?
Okay, so when I click here, it then will take me to these three.
Got it.
Or,
Okay.
or I wonder, it doesn't drop down. So this, I kind of,
Got it.
I mean, what do you guys think about this? I like this is sort of, categorizing with the way that Jack, was it Jack, I think, did also, where it's like you get that one snippet of,
Yeah. I like this.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate this. I like this layout a lot. In
Where
terms
do
of, can you click on drink?
oof, look at that.
And do you mind
Awesome.
scrolling? Let's scroll, please. I guess I was just curious to see if there was any like repetitiveness on if there like the recent work also was incorporated in the portfolio. But I feel like there's so much work to be viewed that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, all right. Leslie, I need you to make
I
me a
love that.
drink. I know, it's so good.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, it doesn't bother me that its recent work is also in the portfolios. I think it's good because sometimes most people won't even be able to get to the recent work body of work. So I think that's really good. And can you go to about?
I like that. That's great. The drop down.
Yeah.
Is there, where do you want me to go?
Bio. Very nice.
Oh, she's so cute.
And then the emails at the bottom too, which I think is fantastic.
It's not linked though. So we might want to mention that.
Yeah, I think a hyperlink would be good to add in there. If you're going to add your email anywhere, it should be just super easy to grab, and then you have an Instagram, which is cool. Yep. And then do you mind going to the contact? I'm curious to see what it says under contact. Oh, cool. And is that so they're not hyperlinked? Yeah, I think that's my main thing is just.
Yeah,
Okay.
it allows to copy and paste, but it's an extra step that it's helpful. I think that it's helpful. Why not?
For sure. I think it's a good comment to make. Definitely helpful to have hyperlinks for even your agent as well. And then you have their website. Is that website hyperlinked? Yeah. So I think that's great. Yeah.
And it goes to her page, and it goes to Leslie's page on the site, which is not just the straight up site, but to her page on the site.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm hungry, Leslie. It's so good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there any other places that you wanted me to go on this? I feel like I'm getting a notification time, Heidi. So thank you for my reminder. No, it's fine. But if there is something else you wanted me to do quickly, because I did ask, go ahead.
No. It's good. I think that, I'm just going to all the places that I feel like I would go to. And I think that it's a great bodies of work. And I think they're displayed really nicely. So good job, Leslie.
Great job, Leslie. Thank you so much for
Thank
submitting
you.
to
Thanks,
us
Leslie.
and taking the time to do that. It's a joy to look, and now I know 6 things I want for dinner. Okay, so we're going to move on to Natalie Fay. So this is the experience. I always want to try to just reload that. So here you are.
Okay.
Now, I would bet
Um,
this is a new thing. I mean, during the
Oh, yeah.
COVID-19 slowdown,
Mhm.
which is super smart.
That's very smart, and I like that because I actually just had a project where I was looking for existing imagery, and so I like that. I think that's great. So when you go over there, so it's click here to view, so that'll click into something. Okay, so stock collections. Can you scroll down? Does it scroll down, or is that just one page? Oh, there you go. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Oh,
So
so
visit
there's
Natalie's page, motion,
image search.
still photos, visit Natalie's page.
Okay, great. So that seems pretty straightforward and easy, and
Yeah, she's really telling you
tells
exactly what to
tells
do.
me that that you're up to date in the moment, what's going on, paying attention to your site. So I like that. I like that for sure.
Okay, so now I'm going to
Um,
go to overview. Is that where you'd like me
okay.
to go next?
Yeah,
I
that's
think it's
great.
going to
Let's
take
see
us
the
back.
overview.
Yeah.
And then you scroll down, which has the images. Or is that, yeah, okay, I see.
So this
Oh,
is her
that's interesting. So
overview.
it does, you don't actually see until you're actually scrolling, you don't actually see the scroll bar, which is cool.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And then
Oh my
maybe,
gosh.
can you click on an image and see?
I'm going to click on these guys. They make me happy to look at them. They're happy, right?
They're
So
happy.
again, we're going to see this. You see the
Okay, the
plus.
plus sign. And then
Kind
when
of,
you go in the middle, it's going to get you back into the,
yep.
okay, perfect. So I've
And then
seen that
there's a
before. That's
minus
great.
on that.
And you have big images, larger images, which is great because that's ultimately what I want to see. When I see thumbnails, it's fantastic. And then when I click in, I want to see the image much larger if possible.
And then I am doing the left right with the arrow button.
Oh, awesome. Fantastic.
Wow.
And then let's see, I guess stock would be part of what was
What she just
before.
did, yeah.
Yeah, which is.
I mean, I think, yeah, it takes you back to that
Okay,
stock.
perfect.
So she's doing it in a couple of places.
I like, okay, so now, oh, that's what I was going to ask you. So portfolios, we got lifestyle, fashion, portraits, eat and drink, motion. I think that's great. That's standard. It's easy. I understand what is being shown there. So that's really good. What about info? Okay. This is great. I mean, it's a lot of information, but it's good. It's all kind of on one page. You scroll down a little bit, recent clients, you've got, and someone had made a comment about hyperlinks actually encouraging bots and spam and stuff like that, which I totally get. So it's not a deal breaker if there's no hyperlink for the email. It is easier, but I know that the bots and the spam are pain. So maybe there's workarounds for that. But I like this. I think that's really a nice touch to put the younger photo
Of
and
you,
then,
I think that, yeah.
I like that touch. Can you scroll down again? Let me just see what's going on at the bottom. Elsewhere, other links, stock. That's fantastic. So there's other places to see. On the left is tear sheets. Can I see that? Tear sheets? That's a kind of nice touch, which is kind of which is interesting too, because a lot of times you're not going to see the final end product of how a lot of times, agencies won't even give you the work back, what's finally done. So I try to do that as best I can. So this is nice. I like to see that as well. Seeing how everything kind of come together. And can you check projects?
Oh,
Does that?
smart.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so then so this is where it's titled, you're not sure, but it's a specific project, so it's going to have a specific name for it. So can we click on What's the boat box? I can't read what
Oh,
that
we'll
says.
find out. Oh, it's a drinky.
Oh,
Is it
hello,
wine?
wine
What
in a
is it?
box. Nice.
Is it wine in the box?
Yeah, it looks like it. I think so.
It is.
Cool. I think overall this is nice. I think definitely it, kind of, Renee had mentioned this with another site, was the left side. It's kind of it's anchored there. It does take up a lot of space, but it's not so bad where I'm not able to see anything else. So there could be, I think with the other one, it was harder because you had to really scroll up and down to see the larger image. Can you just double check one more time?
What do you want me to do? I'm so sorry. Go back to overview.
Yeah, just click in any image just to see that you don't have to scroll up or down to see the full image. It seems like it's
No, it's
within the
staying
frame.
in. Yeah, it is.
All right. I like the bottom. I think it's really clean, simple. And
Where'd you go? There it is. I know, right?
Oh, there we go. Okay, that's interesting.
The one thing I wanted to ask you guys, because I didn't notice it, one of you had mentioned seeing some snippets of motion in the overview that you really liked that. So that might be a
Oh,
nice
yeah.
suggestion for you,
That's a good
Natalie,
idea.
because you clearly have, you have plenty of it, right? So
Yeah,
if you
do a
could
little GIF
maybe,
or Cinematograph or something. Yeah.
yeah, just to show that
idea.
you have that capability right off the bat.
Good
Because
point.
I personally didn't get until I clicked on portfolio that it was going to drop down like that.
didn't know
And
that.
I would have, I saw the overview. So knowing that the motion is there from the overview is probably a great idea.
Yes, good point. Overall, well, actually,
Okay.
she does say stills in motion within her thing,
Sure.
but it is funny because we tend to, I know for me, I'm moving fast. I know I need to slow down. So even though she's saying it right there, I agree with that. But overall, it's a strong site, and it doesn't make me want to go away. I want to.
Okay, so I'm getting a time signal. Unless you feel like there's something else you wanted to add for Natalie.
Good.
I
Thank
love
you,
her,
Natalie.
by the way.
Yeah.
She's a client of mine.
Nice.
Love. And we love all of our clients, by the way. But I just wanted to say thank you, Natalie, for submitting.
Thanks,
It's such
Natalie.
beautiful. I love looking at your work. So thank you. Now we're going to move on to Gary, also a workbook client. And so I'm pretty sure I'm on the home page here because I got that enter signal. So Renee, it's you, I believe, right?
Yeah. Do you mind clicking on the little enter button, please?
No.
Please.
Can you imagine? I'm like, no, done with you people. Go ahead. Oh, wow.
I mean, this is something that I commented on before. Gary, I love his work. I know his work well. I think that, the beginning page, can do without. I think that I'm more emotionally drawn to this image than I am of De Niro. I know I'm not speaking for everybody, but in general, I think that, this speaks better to your work than having that little click. I feel like it kind of becomes an oversight. So if you click on the overview for me, Heidi.
Yeah, I was thinking that when you go into enter, you enter directly into the stills portfolio instead of the overview. I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but it's worthy to note. Would you like me to go into thumbs?
Yes, please. I think that's something that that is worth mentioning, is that going straight into thumbs is preferable in my opinion. So if you were to scroll down just a bit, and I also feel like this is like a good amount of work to have in an overview as well. Like, I don't feel like I'm looking at way too much. And it's also great. I'm also getting a very good idea of like the type of work he does. So do you mind clicking on the little babies with the soccer balls? Just because I like to see it. Okay. And then also like the capabilities of using the arrow buttons or yeah. And
Right
then
there.
to get out of this view, you just click in the center.
Nope.
Or
You have to go back.
Okay. Not a huge deal. Not a huge deal. I think easier if you were to do like some sort of capability to get back to that thumbnail.
I think when you click in the center, it
It does
takes you
go
to
back?
this. No, it takes you
Oh.
to the bigger thing. And then when you click again, it's
Goes
pushing
to
you
the
to the
next image.
next.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. Um, can you click on stills for me?
So again,
Okay. So it
Yeah.
goes back to this image. Cool. And then scroll down, please. And yeah, it's good because, you know, I see the scroll bar to the right, and there's definitely more work in this category, which is good because obviously the overview is supposed to have a percentage of this.
it's great. I'm sorry, getting
but-
wrapped up in the imagery. What? That's great.
But I do feel like there is quite almost too much now to look at, and I feel like this is, you know, this would benefit from having maybe an additional drop down.
Oh, into categories, into
Yeah.
subcategories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
All right, Gary, just making me
pretty
laugh.
damn funny, Gary.
Oh my God. This, I mean, all right.
Heidi, keep it together.
I know, but I'm just falling in love again. I mean, this is hysterical. Sorry.
These are really fun.
Okay.
Yes. Do you mind clicking on observation for me?
I'm going to go to here.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, for example, I think that because it went to this boogie board image initially, I kind of was just like, nah, I don't need to see this. And I immediately was like, my eye wandered and I was like, what else can I potentially look at? So I think that's why the thumbnail aspect of it is super important. I mean, this is a good size too. Like, I feel like you don't need to go any smaller than that. I think this is nice. And I from that boogie board, I would have not gotten the amount, gotten these images. I think everything in observation is really, really good.
And I think observation, I'm assuming that is personal work.
Personal
Is that
work,
yours?
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that it's really important. I think that what you're saying is really important. Having that, this tile view, this overview, the ability to see this in thumbs will propel people to the next image.
Exactly. Yeah. Can we go
Additionally, specifically, and most specifically, because this is in another gallery, this image. It was in your overview. So when that one was the first one, people thought they've seen it before and may not delve deeper in.
Right.
Okay, sorry. What did you want me to do?
Can you go to celebrity? And then do the little thumbnail guy.
Yeah. I think I accidentally almost right-clicked appropriately. Did you guys see that flash on the screen?
Good job.
Okay. All right. I'm feeling
you
super
scroll
successful.
down?
This is great.
Yeah. I mean, what's really good is that it all speaks to the work Gary does. You know, he's a very funny guy, very comical, and his use of lighting and color is all very consistent. I think that the celebrity aspect, I think, you know, I have this weird thing with celebrities. I feel like you can intertwine them with others to make them not feel so to make them stand out so much. I mean, it's good because you also want to be like, hey, I've shot celebrities before, you know, I don't just shoot like any other talent. But I think it's good to be able to intertwine that more with everything else and not I mean, just because I feel like, you know, a lot of them are like in costume and things like that. So I feel like it's good to be able to intertwine them, which is important. Can you go to motion really quick?
Oh, that's great.
Nothing. Oh, okay.
But again, I think the recommendation would be to pepper your overview with a little bit of that, of the motion
Yeah.
stuff, so that people
Yeah,
can
exactly.
see that. I didn't mean to jump on your
No, you're
punchline,
fine.
but yeah, oh, how cool. Okay,
Yeah, this
what is
is good.
happening here? What is going on? What is happening? I love, oh, okay, I'll just stop.
No, this is great. I think this is, I mean, I don't know if these are all actual MP4 files or if they're GIFs, but I think that being able to see that you do motion in the overview is a comment that I would make, because I would like to see it first thing as well. And then can you go to info?
And we love this, yes.
Yes, love the little icon. Okay, sorry, Travis.
I thought I hit it. Didn't I hit it? Yes, I did.
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot to read about if you scroll down. That's good. Awards are nice. Clients. Yeah, I feel like if you're able to condense this a little bit, that would be good. I feel like it might be too much.
Now, do you have any kind of feeling about his email is not on here? It's just both of his representation, which,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, oh, wait, it's right there.
oh,
London?
never mind. I
Oh.
lied. So sorry, Gary. But the H isn't part of this. I don't know why. And
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
feel
it
like,
matters terribly, but
I mean, that's a good point, Heidi. I think that I think that if Gary kind of removes his email from the London and New York context and just kind of like, oh, for any inquiries or if you want to chat or become best friends, like this is where you can reach me.
oh, I see.
'Cause I
Maybe
feel like
making it
it's-
at the top
Oh
here.
yeah, it's somewhere just to like,
Yeah.
yes, I get that, I see that, oh, okay, Gary's from London, but then I think it's good to just separate that up. Okay.
Okay, so I'm getting a notification that we have 20 minutes to do 6 more people. So I'm going to move us through. And Gary, thanks so much.
Thank you, Gary. Great
Thank you.
work.
Obviously, I enjoyed this thoroughly. That's no mystery. So thank you for participating today and hope that this was helpful for you. We're going to move on into Chris Jameson. Okay, so now obviously.
Okay, great. So you have to enter, which is not ideal, but let's see what we got going on here. Overview, lifestyle projects, work.
Super clear.
Work. Yeah, okay, scroll down, please. Would you? Thank you. Let's see. Looks like it's
Wow.
pretty straightforward. Could you click into one of the images?
And I can left and right.
Okay, great. And then how do you get back to, is it go in the middle? How do you get back to the?
It is not clear to me how I get back to that
Hmm.
because I'm not seeing an option,
So maybe you have to click back up to the top.
okay, so I go here.
Oh, there's a X at the far right, top right.
There was,
Yeah.
okay. So, what we didn't notice is that this is a slideshow I am not moving.
Okay.
Let me get back into
All right,
overview.
so
And then we click on, I just want to replicate what I just did so that we
Yeah.
understand. So when we're here, we went like this, and then you're telling me it's here.
scroll up. Scroll up.
Ah, there it is. Got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So ideally, for those kinds of things, I'd rather just have a quick, I can go right back into thumbnails. That's ideal. But at least I get a bigger picture of what's going on. So, but overall, large overview, maybe could reduced and edited for the overview. Can you scroll back all the way up? Okay, awesome. Thank you. And so then, okay, so just so you know, Heidi, there's a delay, when you see, so when you're scrolling over, just maybe hold. for a
Slow it
little bit.
down, honey.
Yeah, please. Thank you. Okay, so projects, could you just scroll to projects? Okay, so break dance, biker. Okay, so that's great. Could you, that's clear, seeing kind of what it is maybe, and I can click on that. Could you go to scroll over lifestyle? Okay, so lifestyle is just general. Basically, I'm just kind of quick overview because I see how this how the site operates. So I don't necessarily need to go into each one. Okay, so work. I don't quite understand what that means in terms of go to active. Could you go to active women or whichever, anyone, doesn't really matter.
What does GO mean?
So I guess what I want to understand is what is yeah, I can't see when it's loading up here. I guess it's taking a little bit. So my question would be for this is lifestyle projects and then work. Is that mean, what does that mean? That's a little confusing to me. And how does that differ? So that's just a little bit not clear. Can you go to print?
Tear sheets.
Oh, these are tear sheets. Okay, so that took a while for me to see. Okay, fantastic. That's great. I like to see that. And then I guess the last one would be, could you go to connect?
Oh,
Okay, and scroll down. Cute. And
Aw.
could you scroll down here? Let's see.
okay.
Okay.
So this
Okay,
is
great.
hyperlinked.
I mean, overall, good. I think the comments would be the enter page. You know, not so keen on that. Ideally, just go right into it, and then just clarify what the categories are in terms of what's work, what's projects. Maybe have condense that or anything else. But overall, it's very clear.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, so thank you so much, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
I personally would love for, I feel like the work one is the one that I think you need to give your attention to in terms of where do those fit here and why is this different than this? Just to recap what Hillary was sort of saying here. And I love this, help me help you. So I hope that this was helpful to you, and I do appreciate you and your rep reaching out and putting you up for this. I'm sure, I'm hoping that it was helpful for you, and that was that. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, so now Taggart Lee. Right away we have these items here,
great.
and I just want to make sure I'm on the, yep, we're on the start page. So Renee.
Okay, yeah. So again, general creating an overview is really great. If you can you scroll down for me, Heidi?
Sure. I just was getting the notification and saying that, you know, we had a commitment to go through a certain amount of sites, so we may go over slightly. Just want
Okay.
everybody to understand that we might be doing that. And so I'm sorry, tag.
Do you mind scrolling down, please?
Not at all.
Okay. And then this is great. I feel like, you know, this is a good body of work. I feel like, you know, you can see a lot of different specialties. Do you mind scrolling up a little bit further?
Scrolling up.
Yes, I feel like my initial would probably be it's almost too much, as we were mentioning. And then clicking on the little menu guy.
Okay, so for me, just
I can't really see.
I can't see it. Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known this was here.
I
Because
think that
of the
this
orange.
image, yeah, I think you know, I think in general, the image with this sweet gentleman with the orange background, I mean, that just was an unfortunate way of how it got the layout just came. But I feel like in general.
Right. So
Yeah.
when I resize it, it has a different impact. But again, the top is then knocked out. So
Right.
Tag, you want to keep that in mind,
Yeah.
just in terms so that we can see it. Okay.
Yeah. So, But yeah, it's great. Drop down menu is great. I think to have like some sort of background color on it, just so you can be able to see you're not really relying solely on what the image is. Can you go to a portrait? Let's go to
I
portrait.
would love to, but I don't seem to. Okay, there we go.
All right.
My computer was like, no. Okay.
Okay. Again, great. Love the amount of work I see here. Can you click on one of those images, please?
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. What a tattoo.
Great. Yeah. I mean, it's a similar layout as to what we've been seeing a lot is, we're able to click on it and you're able to see. I mean, I think if you go back to the thumbnails, I think that this is a lot of work. I feel like, I think it'd be good to edit it down slightly. Just because I feel like it's the size of the thumbnail is so small. I think maybe just make the thumbnails a little bit bigger, because I feel like everything's kind of just being jumbled up. Can you go to the menu again?
Did you see that question about the create a PDF?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not
there's a
seeing
create a
any
PDF
questions.
at the bottom there, and there's a question, and we haven't really addressed that because it's had been a question for a couple people, whether we like it.
Right. I asked you guys during the practice yesterday, but not today.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, generally speaking, I don't use this function. Just because I mean, for me, it's just like another step for me in general. I do like to be able to like take screenshots or be able to just be able to hyperlink exactly to, pop-up window.
I don't understand what I don't know if this is me or you, Tag, but I went back and it did this. So I'm gonna do this and see.
Is there
where
a
we go.
pop-up? There's the pop-up window is being blocked. Just an FYI.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, and I mean, Hillary, I don't know, you can.
Yeah,
chime in.
I mean,
Yeah.
with the PDF, just to jump in on that type, I agree. I don't necessarily use the create a PDF at all. I don't think I've ever used it ever. It's usually, and I know that people with the right click saving, there's people who are saying that, they have images that are stolen and things like that, and that's not cool. So I understand the reticence to not have that included, but I'll just do a screen grab when I'm trying to share. So with the create a PDF, not so much, don't use it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Is there anything else? I know it's a little hard to read.
Can you go to the about page?
Sure.
Thank you.
Aw.
Can you scroll down?
I love his face. He's a client of mine. I love his face. So hi,
Can you
Tag. That
scroll
was sweet.
down for me, please?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good amount of information to have in here, and I think and it's nice to be able to put a face to the name, but obviously not a deal breaker. Is tag hyperlinked?
It is not.
So that is one other comment I'd make. But
I would also put this underneath for some reason.
yeah,
That
it's just
feels
formatted
awkward.
very weird. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, overall, I think that the website the layout in general and the overall look and feel is really good. I think that the menu bar needs some love, and overall, I think that maybe to not edit down the work a little bit, not put so much.
It is.
Oh, it's linked there.
It is linked here. So Tag, if you're going to have it on your about page, just link it. That's all, or let it just live here. And then this is perfect on a white background, but on that front, or when we're in one of your galleries, it's a bit harder to see when we click on it. This being a much better example, but as you saw when we first started it with that orange background, I didn't even understand I was seeing it, and this makes it because it's half on and half off. So maybe see, you know, as Renee said, I think give it a little love and figure out how we can improve upon that. Because otherwise, this isn't taking up a lot of space. This comes and goes, which is cool, right?
Right.
Renee?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so thank you,
Thank you,
Tag,
Tag.
for doing that.
Thanks, Tag.
For joining us today, and I hope that was helpful to you. I'm going to click off of you and move on to Scott Lorenzen. I'm really bad at pronouncing people's names, but anyways, here's Scott. So whose turn?
It's mine.
I think it's Hillary.
Mhm.
Okay.
Excuse me. Can
I
you
feel
reload
like
because there
this
says
is
network
weird.
error?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
Okay. So overall, I like the idea of having these. I like the idea of having the categories up there, but it's a little jumbled. So and
Just in
with
terms
the
of
image,
spacing,
well,
in terms
yeah.
of the spacing. Okay.
So in terms of the spacing, in terms of the format, the layout, I guess when you're hovering over them, but also the with that image, the images scrolling behind it,
Yeah.
that's harder. So ideally it would be, you would have it anchored, you would have the categories anchored somewhere where there's no photography behind it. So that's one thing. Ideally we could change. So if you want to, could you click in anywhere? Architecture is fine.
I want to do industrial just because I'm contrary here, Hillary.
No problem. I don't mind.
And just to let you know about that cover page, your network error, he has a full motion kind of clouds moving on his image. So it's not working on your browser, but it is working on my browser. So it's a different experience on mine.
Oh, so it's a
Yeah, it
Safari
did-
Chrome thing.
It did work once I reloaded it, though, didn't it, Hillary?
Yes, it did. It did.
Okay.
You were seeing
Okay.
motions and clouds and spanning and click beautifully smooth. Okay.
I don't know, because again, there's a delay. So I don't know what I'm really truly seeing in real time.
Let's try it again, and I'll wait because I think that's worthy.
Okay, so let's see here. Yes, clouds.
Yeah, it's not working properly.
Okay. Is it? It's
One-
jilted, but I don't know if that's normal
See,
or if that's just because of the webinar delay.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, it's loading perfectly. It's just going from my computer to like other places. So I think that's the error.
It's smooth
It's
clouds going
smooth
by.
and
Okay,
yeah.
so I think again, I think what you're seeing is going to be different from what I'm seeing because there's a delay. So so going into industrial, okay, so that scroll bar on the right. So could you scroll down?
It's not, I wonder if I can, I
Can
can.
you just scroll down with your trackpad
arrows
or whatever?
You can scroll with your trackpad, or
Okay.
you can scroll with your trackpad, or you can scroll with your arrows. So it works
awesome.
on both. Look at that sky.
Okay.
Wowza.
So these are great. I mean, these are large images, which are great. But again, I have to do a lot of work to, ideally, I'd rather not have to do so much work in terms of scrolling. And if I don't have a large enough screen, then I'm not going to see the whole image. But I love the fact that there were large images, and I love the fact that they do take up pretty much the whole space. So ideally, we'd want to see some thumbnails because there's a lot to go through. But
so we're starting to get into a more gallery.
Yeah.
Reception.
So if we go back, and then again, ideally, I'd want to have all the categories where I can see the categories again. So the only way for me to see the categories is, I don't know, do I have to scroll back up or home?
I think I go home. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I
So
go home.
that's another comment where, again, having something anchored so that I don't have to click back and forth. What's Architecture Los Angeles? Is that different from, is that one whole thing?
I think it is.
I see.
Different.
Okay, so I get the gist of what this is. I like the fact that you have
Oh, look at what that's interesting. I'm sitting here going, so
image
who's
credit.
Leslie? That means these images See how smart he is? These images that are inside this.
Oh, yes. No, that's great. That's very nice. I like that too.
Yeah, that was thoughtful.
That's very thoughtful. Okay, and so I get the gist of what this is. And if could you scroll back up a little all the way to the top, and then let's just go to the about page. Okay, awesome. This is great, clear. Could you scroll down and see?
Dark at
what's going
first, and then when I start to scroll, it gets light. I don't
Oh,
know why that
interesting.
is.
I don't know either. Current, I like that. That's interesting, the current Instagram feed. That's kind of cool. Can you scroll? Okay, that's groovy. I like that. And could you scroll all the way down?
And that's that.
Okay, awesome. Overall, I think the biggest point is the navigation bar, the categories, and having that be anchored somewhere where I don't have to click it back and forth, and that ideally having thumbnails, but when you click into an image, then having it really large is fantastic, because I do love the idea of it spanning the whole screen. So that's it. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is, they're beautiful. Thank you so much, Scott,
Thanks,
for
Scott.
submitting to us. I hope that we were helpful to you today. And please, everyone, know that go to his homepage. It's stunning and it moves in real time and in a seamless manner. Okay, thank you, Scott, and hope it was helpful to you. So next up is Ali Danze. My friend Ellie. We go right into
Nice.
her,
Yeah.
this is her overview. And okay.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, great. I love being able to see all this nice, bright poppy colors. So do you mind scrolling down?
Well, that's interesting. Look at that.
Which thing? Let me see.
Well, I don't know if you're seeing it or not, but when I hover,
Oh, yes.
it turns kind of reddish, where before it was like light. I didn't realize that could be sort of customized. That's interesting. Okay, go ahead and tell me.
that treatment. Do you mind scrolling down, please? Again, I think that this is a great amount of work to be in an overview. It looks really beautiful, and you're really getting a good sense of what your capabilities are. Do you mind clicking on the food button on the left? Make you hungry?
Oh my gosh. Stop it.
Okay. Let's go to eats. Why not? Okay, so if you scroll down and then try clicking, let's click on this little cheese guy with the, oh, wait, hold on. Oh, well, yeah, you could just click on any of the images. And then it goes, and then you can navigate pretty easily.
Yep. And then when I click on it again, it doesn't, when I click on it again, it doesn't do that. So now I'm looking for that X button, which, okay, so there it is. It was blocked by my Heidi's talking panel.
Okay, yes. Okay, and that's fine.
Clock out of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you keep scrolling down, I feel like I'm looking at the amount of images also that are in this portfolio. There is a considerable amount, so I think it can maybe go through a little bit of an edit down, just slightly, not too much. I feel like the work is beautiful, and we want to be able to see as much of it as possible. But it is a lot to go through, and considering the images are, though their thumbnails are a little bit larger, we want to be able to see everything, as being able to see as much as possible. So can you go to product?
Okay, there's 3 things under product. Would you like me?
Let's go to, I guess, industrial packaging. What's that? Oh, interesting. Okay. Can you scroll down? This is pretty interesting. Okay. And then can you go to products? And then
What is
scroll-
that? Who invented this thing? Wow. All right.
Okay. Scroll. One thing, I mean, this isn't obviously a deal breaker, but when you click on product, I would maybe say like, maybe call it something else, because then you're going into another menu item called products. So it's like product and then products. Maybe, I'm not I wouldn't be able to come up with something off the top of my head, but maybe like do a little switcheroo, like change that around a little bit. Because
Yeah,
it just
'cause
feels a little
lifestyle-
redundant.
Yeah, and also lifestyle under product. What does that mean, right? What does
Right.
that mean? What does that mean? Oh, it means people holding products. Well, okay, so I could have made that jump. Sorry, Ellie. But it's a good point. What would be a better
Yeah.
nav name for this with these under it is certainly
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, just to break up that slight redundancy. And then the
Mhm.
lifestyle aspect, I mean, yes, there's, when you can shoot still life or product with a person, that can be considered something that's more lifestyle. And I think maybe that can even call for a completely separate menu item, like under the actual food, product, lifestyle, and then personal. So with that said, can we go to personal?
So what would you like to go into?
Oh, sorry. It was just a bit of a delay. Let's try travels. Yeah, this is great. I like to be able to see personal work. Can you scroll down a little?
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's really pretty. I mean, I think it's really neat that, you shoot a lot of food, and then which probably involves quite a bit of travel. So I think that's really interesting that you're able to see it from you're able to see art and photography in different points of view. And I think that's really special. Can you go to about?
Ellie, aw. See, it does it to me every time. Like, I like to see their faces. I think, they spend so much time behind the camera. I like to see their face, but my opinion isn't what matters. So by all means, ladies, continue.
Can you scroll down?
Sure. Why? There's a space here, Allie. I don't know if you're aware of it. Maybe not having
Yeah.
that.
And then the get in touch button what is that? Where does that take us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it does this,
That's fine,
and this
yeah.
is linked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, the contact us form isn't really ideal. I would just go straight to the link and be like, "Hey, Allie, it's Renee." But yeah, I think that overall, generally speaking, this is a great site, and I think she has a lot of great work. And I think that just a couple of editing tweaks, as well as a couple of like navigational changes, I think it's great.
And these feel cut off to me, and I'm not exactly sure why.
I
Is
think
anybody
it's 'cause
else?
that has a scroll, because I
feeling
think the
that?
menu is on a scroll as well.
It is, but it's not moving.
Yeah, that
Oh.
looks cut off.
It does feel cut off to
Yeah.
me, and that's just maybe be cognizant of that, Allie. And so I feel like we're at time for you. Yep, I got a signal time. But thank you so much, Allie, for making me hungry. Between you and Leslie, I'm starved at this point, but this is a me problem. But thank you so much for submitting, and
Thank you. Thank you,
I
Allie.
really appreciate
Allie.
it. It was lovely. So let's move on to, we only have two left. This is one of two left. And George Camper. George, I hope you're listening, and welcome. And whose turn?
It's my turn, Hillary. Okay, great. So this is the first page, and it says scroll. So let's could you scroll down? You can see.
Wow.
Is it scrolling?
Is it
Oh,
not?
okay. Oh, yeah, it took a little bit. Okay, so it's scrolling into overview.
Okay, okay, so I was just, let me try this again.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because
this
there is a delay. There's a delay on my end.
okay, so I'm going to,
Oh, and one question. Oh, are you, never mind.
I'm just gonna do this because I feel like this website is using significant energy. I'm gonna tell it, so what? We want to. Okay, so now I'm gonna do this and see if I'm a bit better at all of this. So this is the opening page, but it does have a scroll.
Right.
So I feel like it goes straight into the because it literally says overview here.
Okay.
Or yeah, so
So
and I can't read. Can you read this?
no, I was going to mention that. So
Okay.
when you're in the welcome page, yes, I think that, well, first it's harder to read the white type against the lighter background. But if you scroll down, I'd like to see what's going on as you scroll down so that I can
Okay,
kind of
so
get
it
an idea.
says this comes and goes.
Right.
Okay, so I guess I could do that.
So you're clicking
then
on that?
I did click on it, which made it happen faster. I can just
Okay,
scroll
that's
it,
fine.
but I did click on it and made it happen faster.
Okay, that's not a problem. And then can you scroll some more?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so
All the way
that
down,
was
because
the
I'm looking
overview.
at the right and I can see that there's a whole thing going on. I just want to get an idea scrolling all the way down.
It feels like these are galleries. So the
Right.
first was the overview gallery, then the lifestyle gallery, then now we're into tourism.
Right, I understand. So let me see here, piggybacking. Okay, so it looks like if you're scrolling all the way down, these are all categories, right? Are they the same categories at the top? That for me, I would rather not have to scroll down to see the categories, you know what I mean? Having them anchored. So what's all the way at the
they're
top?
here. Can you see under when I hover
Okay.
over work?
Uh-huh.
It's
There we go.
it's
Okay,
giving
great.
me, I think,
That's
all this
helpful.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so that's helpful. Yeah, I think that's great. What happens in stories? Okay, personal, celebrity. Okay, and then blog. I wonder if stories should be next to work, that category.
And put blog over here.
Yeah, maybe. Now overview would be the first. So if I'm going left to right, this is just my preference, but again, I'd want to see overview first, then work, then stories, then blog and about and contact and all that stuff. So I think overall, can we go into work and just click on one of the categories?
Sure. And I think that I want to ask you to choose what the category is, because my feeling and
sure.
on
Why don't we look
this
at
is, but my feeling on this, George, is this is hard because it's, for me at least, I'm not sure what everybody else's experience is, but this is going on top of the welcome. So
and I was going to mention that overall. So just going into that, and then I'll go back to kind of the overall look and feel. If you go into like eye care or something.
Sure.
I wonder, just out of curiosity, how that navigation rolls. Oh, so we're in a whole different ball of wax here. Okay, so this is better. I can see clearly. And then could you click on one? It's a totally different feel. It kind of feels like it's a different feeling of the site because of the, now does this have go back to thumbnails little thing? Oh, it has a little X on the top right. Okay.
Right there.
All right. So
I like how it kind of does an increase. Are you noticing that?
Which one?
Well, when I hover over it, it kind of does a darker tone, but it also brings it closer.
Oh, yeah. That's not bad. So can we scroll back up again? I'm just curious what the menu bar, what that looks like. Okay, so I agree. So overall, I'm assuming that all these categories are going to be the same in terms of how they're navigating. But the way that it is in terms of the layout, the design, where you've got the drop-down menu of work, that is definitely hard to read because it's going over what's anchored there. So if there's a way to have that navigation so that it's not dropping down over other things, that would be ideal. The thumbnails is ideal, right straight ahead. The scrolling part, when you first land on the page, is not, you have the large, that takes up the whole screen, you have the large image, and then you're scrolling down. It's a little bit disjointed because you have, in the overview, you have the thumbnails, and then you also have one image per category. So my feeling is the scrolling is not, there's got to be a different way to navigate. So I don't know how to do that per se.
So you'd
but
rather,
so I'd prefer
have
not having the scrolling of the categories. I'd rather have the categories have one anchor, or have like one image, or just an overview of landing page. But the way that it's currently working is not ideal.
Okay, so you would almost say overview gallery with the way, where is it? Here it is.
Maybe land there, yeah, overview.
Yeah.
Land in the overview.
Land it like this, and then having this, having this navigation up top take more of the lead role, and so that's great. Take more of the lead role in the
and
site.
It's nice that it's nice that you have some of the motion, which is great. So that's that. What's in blog? I don't know if blog is necessary for this. Okay, that's cool. It's not bad. Could you scroll and see how this? So it's kind of interest. Okay, time's up. Can we scroll back to the top?
Sure.
And contact.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. And then got all the general information. We've said what we said about the the forums and stuff like that, but that's more scrolling, not ideal. And then the about, I guess, maybe takes to where it was heart. Okay, great. Can you scroll down? Okay, yeah, I think it's okay. It takes a lot of space, a lot of time. These are nice shots. And I've changed my mind about seeing people. I like seeing people. I agree with you, Heidi.
I've influenced you.
It's a lot of scrolling, a lot of time that I'm not going to have scrolling, going up and down. But it is nice. So those are my comments of having the navigation simplified a little bit.
Well, perfect. George, thank you so much for submitting.
Thanks, George.
Thanks for having your picture here. I love that. And beautiful. I feel like they gave a lot of good, Hillary gave a lot of good just feedback that could probably be relatively easily implemented. And I certainly hope that you appreciated it, and I'm sure you appreciated it, but we appreciate you submitting for this. So I'm going to move past George and on to the last one. Now this one's kind of unique in that it is not a photographer site. It is a production specialist site. This is a location company, or a production company in Hawaii. And so it's going to feel a little different, but they submitted and they were the last ones that I had a spot for. So
is this like the site that this is like the landing page of the site when you like first click on it? Is it this we come here specifically?
Yep.
Okay.
This is where you are.
Yeah.
And
this
scroll is happening without me moving it. This is
okay.
It's in an automatic.
This is a very special case, but at the same time, I feel like my comments to how I would want to see like even the photographer's website is same comments to any other like production company or even a prop stylist or wardrobe stylist, just because it's just be able to see what the capabilities are. I feel like I feel like, you know, it's broken down in a nice way, but I feel like at the same time, there's just a lot of different images that I feel like don't really make sense. Like, I'm not sure if I'm looking at images that were of like a photographer that like actual like published work, or this is a lot of like behind the scenes work. So it's, do you mind going, Heidi? Sorry, I just tried to click on this website myself. Can you go to the menu bar that was at the top, right? Yeah, can you go to services? And can you scroll down? Yeah, I mean, it's great to see all the different capabilities that this production company has, but I feel like, I think that's really cool. Like you say you have drone services and you have like a good idea of, you have a breakdown of like who certain people that work with the company and the co-owners and things like that. But in general, I feel like it's a kind of, it feels very sterile. Like I feel like it's just kind of, I don't feel like a whole lot of personality to it. I think that, you know, I think in general, having a dark background is not appealing. I think to maybe brighten it up and maybe like on the lighter side, and I'm talking and my favorite color is black, but but I think it's good to be able to engage more. I feel like the darker colors kind of like are like, it's, you know, I want to be able to see something that's just like a more brighter. Doesn't need to be like, you know, super colorful or anything like that, but I just feel like the colors in general are just kind of muted. In terms of, can you click on the contact?
I wonder what you will say.
Yeah, I mean, again, that the form isn't the best way of, and I'm just gonna say why I don't necessarily like the form. I don't, because you know, it feels very, it doesn't feel very personable to me, but also because I can't necessarily keep track if I've emailed you. Like I can, if I emailed you from my email address, I'd be like, okay, I could just check my sent box and be like, oh, did I reach out to this person and I just haven't heard back? No, because I don't remember emailing you. So I think it's good to have a log. But in general, yeah, I think it's good to, I think what you should incorporate more are images from shoots that were produced by this company. I think it's great to have some behind the scenes work, yes, but I do like to see what has been produced as final product if you have the permission to use those images.
Right. Okay. Okay, well, did you want to investigate any other sort of spots on here? I'm honored to work with. I think this is where you're going to see some of the clients that they've had and so on, but maybe,
Yeah.
like you're saying, add some of the imagery that was created.
This is
Right.
great. I think that, you know, I don't typically have time to go through all the testimonials.
Sure.
Even though I think it's great that so many people spoke so highly of you guys, you all as a company, excuse me.
This
yeah.
is super long.
Yeah, it's very long. I mean, again, great.
No,
Great that you
it's
guys
good,
have so much
but
that has to be said, but I just don't know how much people are actually going to get through all of this.
okay.
And then, yeah. Can you go to the stills really quickly? Sorry.
Yeah, that might be more of what you were referring
Yeah,
to.
that's what
There's a lot. That's another thing is, I mean, there is a lot to look at on the side thing. And I don't get that personally when I'm going to that homepage.
Yes. So, I mean, this is what I was exactly talking about, but I wouldn't have known that until 6 items down. I feel like it should be the front runner is, and to just be like, enough of the bullshit, excuse my language, and just go straight to like what we do. This is what we do. We produce. And
Never heard
this is the
that
work.
language before. Terrible. No, but I think really good point, because everything that you're saying that he should have, or that they should have, they do actually. It's it just needs to be reordered, I think, so that you know it's there. And that home page, I think that it was it feels like it's telling the whole story and it's not. So
Right.
maybe it could be a more just like, and I know you both just said don't do this, but maybe more like that single image that says enter, that allows or brings you right to this navigation system. It's so lost, right? It's so small. And
Yeah.
I think specifically for this kind of site, you really want to see that nav. You want to, you know, a homepage of a great shot like that island maybe, and then you want to have these navigations on the top so that we know they're there, right? Would you agree with that, Renee? Because I feel like we didn't, everything that you said is here, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, I feel like it's just being like being able to convey that first thing. And I mean, I don't think this necessarily requires like one of those enter pages. I think it's just to be like, this is what we do. It could be a handful of images that were pulled from memorable shoots or shoots that we want to brag about, you know. Very similarly to how we've been reviewing the other websites, being like, oh, this is, you want to be able to talk about your work and be able to get to the point right away.
So like an overview,
Yeah.
like an overview of all of these items mixed together. And then, no?
Nah, I mean, I think that if you can show the work without, or just even where, you know, that little icon with the branding on it to the left, you could just be like, if you go over, yeah, it's like Hana Productions, you could be like Still in Motion production company, you know?
Okay.
Like, just like, this is what I do, this is what I am. And that's what a lot of other folks do too. They write underneath like, oh, motion and stills, or photographer.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. Did you
Guys,
want me?
I'm going to jump in here just because it's a good little pause here. I think,
Sure.
wow, I can't thank you enough for all the amazing time you spent on each one of these and getting to everybody, which was absolutely incredible. I have a couple hand-picked reviews, questions actually. So I know we've gone way over, but I wanted to hit just a couple of these highlight questions for you, if you don't mind. Someone was asking, how often would you recommend updating their web content?
I can start
Great question.
this one. Yeah, I think pretty often. I would say, I mean, it obviously depends on how much you're shooting and how often you're shooting, but quarterly. You know, if you're shooting that much, yeah, quarterly is ideal. You want to keep as up to date. You want to be as contemporary, modern, and
Yep.
not show too many older pieces unless, you know, they're extremely relevant. So quarterly is my thought.
So when you're updating, you also want to be subtracting, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I never really thought about it that way, but perhaps, yes.
So here-
Editing, and it is hard. It's very hard for photographers to edit their own work, and so I understand that. So ideally, have someone else maybe help you. But yeah, I guess
Do you have
so,
any-
because you don't want as many images as
Right. You don't want to suddenly have an 85 image gallery, right?
exactly.
But also, are there any tricks? I'm just going to jump on this question because it's so smart. I don't know who asked that, Travis, but it was really smart. But my question is, do you guys have any tricks that they can think of? You know, editing yourself is always difficult, but are there any things that you think they can keep in mind when they don't have some other eyes on it? You know, these guys are relatively isolated, and it's great when they have people who can consult with them and who can help them in this regard. But oftentimes they're kind of, you know, hoeing it alone. So are there any things that they can keep in their head when they're editing themselves?
Renee, you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's always good to keep in mind just keeping it fresh. Obviously, I think that, you know, I think updating your website is super important. And I'm not saying that you have to, every time you have a new image, you just got to throw it up in there and see if it sticks. I think making sure you take the time and just really take all the images and keep a bank of it somewhere and be able to move them around to see what you feel like flows really nicely together, because a well curated website is super important. And I think that's a good, I think for me, that personally, when I used to edit portfolios when I was a rep, I used to just keep a memory bank or a physical bank of like how things flow, and just making sure it's, it's still making sense.
I'm going to
So-
throw this one. This one is combined sort of. It was another question, but it flows perfectly right into this. How closely should someone's printed portfolio reflect on their website?
I mean, I think that they should be updated. I think, first of all, I think that they should be updated just at an equal amount, just because I love a good printed book. I feel like when someone just shows up with an iPad, I feel like, it's there's no craft behind that. And just from being able to flip through the, I think that, adding like adding imagery to a printed book, I know it's a lot harder and it's going to take up a lot more time. I tend to just think of it as like putting everything out like tiles on the floor and just be like, see how this all works together. And then you make a makeshift book of it and just see kind of how it flows. And if you feel really good about it, then I think it's something that I feel like would stay.
So it shouldn't mirror it directly. It should be a curated version of your site. I
don't think it matters. I don't think it matters if it mirrors it to a T. I think because you're not going to be looking at both of them simultaneously, and I don't think you're going to be checking to see if it does. I think it's just about making sure that what you're trying to convey is being said in both mediums.
I feel like you wanted to add something, Hillary.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with Renee. I do think keeping the printed book updated is definitely key. But I'm not expecting the website and the printed book to equally match, because it has to be condensed and more curated and edited. But making sure that you have the most recent things that you're most proud of and that you think are going to work in conjunction with all the other imagery, have that in there for sure.
Very nice. Question here, and I'm going to add a little to it, is a social media question. Thoughts on LinkedIn? Ever find a photographer on LinkedIn's home feed? And adding to that, are you looking to Instagram, to other social media sites as instead of the websites? And how much importance or percentage do you look versus one the other, and how are combining? Will you go to someone's website and instantly go check out their Insta feed to see if it's very different or something like that?
Well, I can start this one off. I mean, in terms of LinkedIn, I don't search for photographers on LinkedIn. That's for sure.
I don't either.
I get a lot of LinkedIn requests to be friends or connected, and I give every one of the benefit of the doubt. So I go on, I look. I don't always accept, because it just is not, unless I really know you, I really don't accept the LinkedIn requests, depending on what it is. But if you're doing a LinkedIn, and just make sure that you have your website clearly able for me to not have to dig and drill down to find your website, so that I can see your work. That's the first thing about LinkedIn. It's got to be right there. And then in terms of Instagram, for me, I think if you don't have your own website and you only have Instagram, that for me is just a professionalism that I think you need your own website. You can't just rely on the Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole other, situation going on with Instagram. But Instagram enhances it. I can see other things that you might not have on your website. There might be personal work. But yes, I do. And unfortunately, Instagram, there's so much out there, which is some great untapped talent, which is really hard to find. Unfortunately, Instagram is harder to search. The search function is really hard. And so it is nice to be able to figure out how to find people on Instagram. There's various ways you can do it. So I don't search. It depends on how I'm going to figure out how I'm going to search for it. So it has to be coming from somewhere else when I'm searching for Instagram. when I'm searching through Instagram, it's harder to do that. And I don't know, Renee, if you have any other tricks and how you actually search, because I don't. I'm usually going through my bookmarks, my
Yeah.
tags, my agents, people,
Yeah.
agents. I want to find new and up and coming people, but it's harder, and I don't.
Well, I mean, yeah, and that's, you know, I totally agree with you. I think for me, I follow a couple of like Instagram pages that like have illustrators and photographers and just like show a bunch of really cool work. But there have been times where I would see an illustrator that I really like on Instagram, but I usually don't go on Instagram unless it's on my phone, and I very rarely go on it on like on my browser. And I feel like when you look at photography, you have to look at it in a big screen. You can't really look at it on your phone. It just doesn't have the same feel.
Awesome. I got two last questions for you before we kind of wrap this up, and Heidi kind of closes out some stuff and I promo a couple of other things we have. What are the differences for art buyers between a portrait and a moment and a lifestyle shot?
Portrait, moment, and lifestyle.
That's
There's that fine line.
Yeah, that is. Well, I mean, I can start this off too. I don't know if, well, portrait for me is, you can have portrait in studio, you can have environmental portrait. And portrait for me is about basically 1 to 2 people, and it's about that person evoking an emotion and that kind of thing. So that to me is a portrait. Moment and lifestyle probably are one and the same in my mind.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, right. And so a lifestyle also is, you're capturing something where the people aren't camera aware, maybe, where you're capturing, whether it's, someone jumping into a pool or whatever it is, you're capturing a moment where you're not camera aware, and it's more spontaneous. And that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I agree with you on this. Yeah, I feel like it's all kind of intermixed in a way.
Awesome. We're working to the last question here, and we've sort of touched upon it, but I kind of give a definitive answer from both of you guys. If you have your work organized by portfolio categories and projects, showcasing images around a single project or story, would it be okay to have redundant images on the site? For example, portfolios as a travel category, or projects as a story on Costa Rica that would be in the same image in both galleries?
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's okay. I think it's fine to repeat images. I think maybe not all the images. As I was saying before, you want to keep you don't want to throw all your cards out in like the same one pool, I guess. I mean, I think you want to be able to provide enough to be able to explore to other pages. And I feel like that gives enough to think about.
Agree. Yeah, I think it's totally fine to repeat images, because sometimes there's crossover in different categories.
Exactly.
So yeah, I agree.
Closing comments from the three of you, which would be fabulous. What is there some site that you've seen, like you went, this is fantastic, that you forward? What's the one thing that you can? Go ahead, Heidi.
Okay, so when we finished the first part, we never went back to this part. And so here are some site examples from Hillary as well as Renee. They gave some. We went over, and I really do feel like it was important to get to everyone that signed up. We had a waiting list too that we didn't get to, which was unfortunate. But I do have a list of sites that they both loved. If anybody would like to see what those are, I'd be happy to forward them. I can read them right now just so that, the shout outs happen. For site examples from Hillary that she really loves is Justin Fantle. Is that correct?
Fantle. Mm-hmm.
Fantle. Christian Weber, Lori Jolette. I hope that's right. This is terrible. And Kelsey McClellan.
I think definitely, you'll send me that list. So as you read this out, you'll send me that list, and I'll post these up for people, and I'll let people know, and put a site list of this, because it's,
Dustin Cohen, Jake Stengel, Dan Salinger, Jeff Lipinski, and Meredith Jenks. So those are the people that they really like. I felt like it was a nice shout out because that's always a nice compliment. And I will send those lists to Travis so that he can include them. I think that there's usually an automatic thing that goes out after these things.
Yeah,
with
I'll email it
resources.
out to everybody.
Sure. So that's a good place to do that. Just in closing, I just want to thank these two ladies. The week of March where I was like, if we have it, would you come? And they were like, well, yeah, I think we would come. And then Hillary had this issue with her dad, and he's like, maybe I won't come. And then we just went, all right, we're not doing this. And so I just want to thank you both that when I said, so what about, getting on camera and doing a webinar, you were both like, yeah, all right. So that was awesome. I love how that you were both game and that you both showed up and that you both gave us so much of your time and your expertise this afternoon. I will never look at burnt sienna the same way again. And
I have to look up what that is, actually.
I know, right? And now I got to look up that flower because I feel like what we showed was a tulip, if I'm honest. So, so I'm gonna, I enjoyed getting to know you, and at some point,
Likewise,
I'm gonna be in New York,
Yes.
and I'm gonna hug you guys,
Yes.
like really obnoxiously.
Looking forward to that hug.
And so just for us in closing, Workbook is doing webinars on a weekly basis too. And I want to put a little plug in for that because they really are about helping our community. The last week we focused on finances. We're going to be focusing on finances again this week. The options that people can have right now because it's so scary these times. So anybody wants that information, we sent out emails today about signing up for that webinar. If you didn't get it and you want it, please get in touch with me directly and I'll make sure that you get the information you need to get registered, because that's a word, registered. We really care about everybody and we want everybody to have all of the advantages and resources that they can possibly have. It's one of the reasons this event was born, but it's certainly the reason our webinar was that we're doing every Friday was born. It's called Where We Are Now. So keep that in mind. And if anybody needs information on that, let us know. Ladies, you are my dream dates. And I just can't thank you enough. Scott Lorenzen says to the whole panel, thank you so much, Hillary and Renee. You guys
You're so welcome,
gave him
Scott.
such
Yeah,
nice
you're
feedback.
welcome.
So that was, I don't know how I saw that, but it just popped up. So thank you, everybody. And Travis, honestly,
Thanks, Travis.
Yes, thanks
for reaching
Travis.
out a couple weeks back and went, why aren't we doing this as a webinar? Really good question, Travis. And thank you for making it happen today. I really, really appreciate it. So
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
It's such a
This is
pleasure.
great.
And, having you all here is just now more than ever, I would say community is so important and that we're looking out for each other.
Absolutely.
We're going through some definitely hard times, but I kind of like to say, it's like a tunnel. It's all bright and sunny on one side. You go through, you have no idea how long that tunnel is going to be. Keep going. It's going to be bright and sunny on the other side. So I'd love to have you guys on Open Talk, which at some point to just talk about what you think the future of this industry is, because it's an ever-changing industry. And tomorrow night we have some amazing special guests, Charles Chesler, who's doing a great Faces of Zoom project that he's doing, Steve Geralt and John Engstrom from Fukelstein Studios. And that's tomorrow. Still register on that. If you go to newyork.apanational.org, you can register for that, and all are welcome. You don't have to be an APA member for that one. But we do have an APA member only Selling Your Fine Art Photography Alternatives to Art Galleries members only event coming up on April 14th, and you can find that on the same thing. For me, Open Talk was born out of really kind of just wanting to have a voice for all of us to talk to each other, support each other, and know that we're all there and you're not alone, because it's going to be kind of tough times right now. So
Absolutely.
I think it's important to know where we came from, where we're going, how to stay positive right now and deal with mental stress and your physical, but also kind of gear yourself for the future of what is going to eventually happen. We're going to come out of this. So there's a way to prepare yourself, and doing your website. Obviously, it was very important to me to say, because right now I think when this ends, everybody's going to have this sparkling brand new website, and I'm very excited about it. So I think the tips that you guys gave today were fabulous. And I thank you so much for giving such your time today was really, really beautiful, and I really appreciate it. So I want to thank everybody.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Travis and Heidi. Really appreciate it. Glad I could help. Really, really grateful to to be with you guys and help out for sure.
So
Same
from
here.
APA, from Heidi, from Renee, from Hillary, and from myself, I thank everybody for joining us, and please look out for new and future things from us, and stay positive, and look forward to seeing what you do next.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys.
Thank you
Good
guys.
luck. See you later.
Bye bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
That was awesome.